Chapter 43:30, Thank you, Lord. Long Chen gave a deep salute to the Lord of the temple. The favor of Long Chen was not enough. He forced out so much blood essence, and the Lord's breath was falling rapidly. He has just been promoted to immortal realm, so it is easy to fall into the realm, which makes Long Chen moved at the same time, also feel very guilty. Go ahead, they can absorb as much as they can. If it's not enough, come back to me. If it's too much, remember to remember me. The Lord's voice was a little hoarse. It was obvious that so much blood essence was forced out, which was a great loss to him. Long Chen nodded and carefully collected the blood essence into the heaven and earth cauldron. He did not dare to touch the blood essence himself. The power of the blood essence was so violent that it would shock him to death. Long Chen gets the blood essence and leaves immediately. He knows that the Lord needs to rest. He doesn't want to delay the Lord's rest. Long Chen keeps this feeling in mind. With blood essence, Long Chen goes back to his residence and begins to extract blood essence directly because the Lord's blood essence is too violent to absorb. In addition, the Lord of the temple is immortal. The essence and blood contain immortal power, not to mention the dragon blood warrior. Even if the dragon dust absorbs a drop, it will explode and die immediately. After all, the barrier of realm can't be crossed. Otherwise, the dragon blood warrior directly merges the immortal essence and blood and becomes the immortal strongman, and the way of heaven will be completely disordered. So after getting the essence and blood, Long Chen needs to refine the power of fury and immortality at the first time, but it's a very difficult job. Fortunately, Long Chen has the heaven and earth cauldron. Otherwise, he won't go to the Lord of the temple to borrow the essence and blood. Dragon Dust not only has heaven and earth cauldron, but also Huolinger to help her. Huolinger's ice spirit is more and more pure, and she also has the power of Taiyin fire and sunfire. The speed of refining essence and blood is amazing. Originally, Long Chen thought it would take at least 7 days. As a result, he finished his training in 3 days. The refined blood was much bigger than before. Originally, it was only the size of fist, but now it has a diameter of 3 feet. There's no way. Long Chen dare not let the dragon blood soldiers directly absorb the blood essence of the Lord. Although the essence of blood has no immortal power and violent power, it is relatively docile, but the essence of blood is accompanied by the strength and will of the wild dragon clan. The dragon dust must dilute it to about 1% to let the dragon blood soldiers absorb it safely. On this day, Long Chen called all the dragon blood warriors together and told them the origin of the blood essence. When he learned that the Lord of the temple risked the fall of the realm and gave them the blood essence, his heart was filled with gratitude. Buzz, when the dragon dust takes out the ball of blood essence, the dragon blood soldiers roar in their bodies. Their dragon blood power is called and flows rapidly. That's the worship of dragon blood. Ready? Long Chen shouts. Ready! The dragon blood soldiers shout loudly. Their eyes are full of desire. They are eager to become stronger. Buzz, Long Chen's hands were sealed. Suddenly, a hand was pressed on the blood cells, and the blood cells trembled. The blood-colored steel needles, like ox hair, stabbed the dragon blood soldiers on their chest. Puff, puff, puff. Blood needle with blood thread, accurate hole through the dragon blood soldier's chest. Dragon blood soldiers, the body suddenly tremble, feel a magma general torrent, rush into the body. At that moment, the dragon blood in their bodies was burning rapidly. In an instant, they were forced out of the body by the new dragon blood. The new dragon blood rushed into their bodies and violently transformed their blood. Ah! A person in the blood into the body of the moment issued a shrill scream. That person is not others, it is Guoran. Xiachen was also stabbed. His body was also weak, even far less than Guoran. He suffered more than Guoran. But before he called, Guoran called out first. Shut up, what's your qualification to call me? Xiachen is so angry that he kicks Guoran's butt. Guoran falls down and rolls on the ground. Xiachen was in great pain, but Guoran almost laughed. This guy didn't want to face it all. Other dragon blood soldiers have already seen strange things. They always know that Guoran is the one who is most afraid of pain. Even the female soldiers of the medical regiment are inferior. Summer morning, Long Chen almost vomited blood when he saw this scene. As for it? To summer morning. Bang! Xiachen cuts his hand at Guoran's back neck. Guoran immediately faints, the scream stops suddenly, and the whole world is quiet. It's shameless. The dragon dust was silent for a while. He knew that this was what Guoran wanted. He wanted to complete the exchange transfusion in a coma, so that he didn't have to bear the pain. However, in a coma, there must be some flaws in the blood exchange, but this guy would rather have flaws than bear the pain. This is a typical dead pig who is not afraid of boiling water. Anyway, he doesn't eat by his flesh. If he can be lazy, he can be lazy. Long Chen can't help him. After a long time, Long Chen found that most of the dragon blood soldiers had adapted to it, but there were still many dragon blood soldiers with painful faces. These dragon blood warriors, because of their mediocre opportunities and weak strength, have a poor foundation. Therefore, it takes longer to adapt than others. But it doesn't matter. They have already taken the 3 extreme heavenly way fruit, and they have the blessing of chaos chi. Now they are injected with dragon blood, and they will soon catch up. However, they are much harder than others now. After another incense, all the dragon blood soldiers have adapted. New dragon blood flows in their bodies, and their breath has completely changed. Well, the next step is to take the initiative to absorb dragon blood according to your own strength. These dragon blood contains endless power. If you can absorb half of it, it will be good. So, you don't have to worry about the lack of blood essence. Try your best to absorb it and reach your limit. This opportunity is only once. Don't miss it. Especially after the return of the brothers, this is your only chance to make up for the gap. We must work hard. Long Chen wrote. Yes, the dragon blood soldiers responded loudly. One by one, they made a seal with their hands and began to absorb the essence blood. I saw the blood-colored silk thread lit up, and the energy in the blood cells slowly injected into the dragon blood soldiers' bodies. While the dragon blood soldiers rapidly absorbed, the blood cells began to shrink gradually. Every dragon blood soldier is trying his best to absorb dragon blood, and dragon dust is protecting the Dharma for them. As time goes on, the breath of dragon blood soldiers is stronger and more terrible. Moreover, while they absorb essence and blood, they form dragon-shaped virtual shadows all over their body. They don't summon visions, and visions have been generated automatically. These visions are connected with each other and echo each other, forming a strange position, and the visions seem to have life, emitting strange rhythm. 1 day, 2 days. On the 7th day, Gu Yang's blood silk thread broke. He finally reached the limit and could no longer absorb the slightest bit of power. Ha ha ha. Gu Yang looks up at the sky and laughs, shaking the sky. With the sound of the dragon singing in his laughter, his whole body is full of qi and blood, which makes the wind and cloud change color. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 43:31, Boss, I feel like I'm full of strength. Gu Yang exclaimed excitedly. He looked at his body and felt the surging power in his body. He wanted to find an alien strong man to fight well. Long Chen checks Gu Yang's body. He can't help but be shocked. The Lord's blood essence is too strong. Gu Yang's flesh and blood has changed dramatically. His skin is like a dragon skin. Although it may not be able to resist the immortal magic weapon, it's hard to cut his skin with ordinary domain artifact. The defense and strength of the body complement each other. From the defense, Long Chen can judge how strong Gu Yang's strength is. Then Li Qi and Song Mingyuan reached the limit. They felt that if they took more dragon blood, they would explode and die. Similarly, the physical strength of both men has reached an unprecedented height. Although they don't rely on strength to fight, their strong physical strength will make them have no worries and worry about not being able to support themselves. Dragon blood soldiers have reached the limit, have stood out, they feel the change of the body, one by one in the eyes of all excited color. Xiachen is the second to reach saturation, because Xiaken's body is weak and the absorption speed is very slow, so we must be careful not to make any mistakes. But Guoran, lying on the ground, is still in a coma. His body has not yet reached saturation, coma, he absorbed more slowly. The dragon blood soldiers keep on punching and kicking. Every time they punch out, they bring out the roaring wind. In the void, there are ripples. The power of one punch is extremely shocking. It was only half an hour later that Guoran woke up. His body was finally saturated. Guoran stood up and felt the change of his body. He couldn't help laughing. At that moment, it was as if he was invincible. Why don't you laugh? You think it's over? There is no shortcut to practice. Now you've gone through this period by taking advantage, but when the disaster comes, how can you still take advantage? Longchen doesn't have a good way. This boy just likes to be smart, because he absorbed dragon blood after he was in a coma. This kind of trick will bring some flaws to the fusion of dragon blood. When this kind of blemish is rescued, the force of natural calamity will be like a furnace, refining the blemish. At that time, Guoran will suffer several times as much as he does now. The most important thing is that no one can take advantage of or cheat in the natural disaster. To put it bluntly, if you come out to mix, you will have to pay back what you owe sooner or later. Hey, if you have wine today, get drunk today, tomorrow's business will be discussed tomorrow. Guoran doesn't care at all. He's still excited. Looking at the appearance of Bangasi, Longchen is speechless for a while. Then I'll see how you cry. After the dragon's blood has been absorbed, the blood essence with a diameter of 3 feet is now the size of a fist. Longchen immediately returns the blood essence with the size of a fist to the lord of the temple. But Longchen just came to the door of the hall. The blood essence in his hand trembled slightly and then disappeared. Longchen knows that it's the lord who takes back the remaining blood essence. Longchen gives a salute outside the door and doesn't go in. Longchen returns to his residence to find Bai Shishir and Yu Qingxian, but is told that they are both in seclusion, so they don't see each other. The academy is still in the process of rapid construction, but the number of people around the academy is obviously much smaller. After inquiring, we know that the disciples of the academy have begun to rob. The strong people of the academy are afraid of accidents, so they all go out to guard around for fear that they will be attacked by the strong people of other worlds. Among them, Bai Zhantong, Bai Shaole's mother, Bai Shishi's mother and other strong men were all escorting their disciples for the robbery, so they were not in the academy. Some of the older generation of strong scholars in the academy have been stuck in the bottleneck for many years. Now the chaos has come and stimulated their bodies. The bottleneck has begun to loosen and they have begun to impact the realm one after another. No matter how old a strong man is, as long as his chi and blood don't start to wither, he has a chance to hit the bottleneck. It can be said that chaos chi has given countless people new hope. In the academy, there are many strong people with ups and downs in their breath, which is caused by the fact that they can't control their own strength in just a few days. After Longchen inquires about it, he goes straight to the southwest of the academy. The golden wings of Kunpeng behind Longchen quiver, and the fragrant time later comes to a barren land. There are 4 teleportation arrays around here, but they can't be used for the time being, because there are people robbing here all the time. As a result, the space here is extremely unstable, so we can only come here on foot. In ancient times, this place was the only place for the disciples of Lingshao Academy. Because of the terrain, the aura of heaven and earth is abundant, and the rules are relatively sound and gentle. It is one of the 9 best places for nirvana. However, because of this, countless strong people came here to rob. Originally, this place was under the jurisdiction of Lingshao Academy. However, because it has been abandoned for a long time, it has long been a land without owners. Even if Lingshao Academy has just regained its territory, this place for looting is still used as a land without owners. However, the strong people of the human race can rob here at will, but the strong people of other races can't. Lingshao Academy put down its words and said that no other race can rob here except Lingzhu. Today's Lingshao Academy is no longer what it used to be. Today's Lingshao Academy. Among the younger generation, there is a dragon dust sweeping the same stage, and among the older generation, there is a domineering lord. At this time, Lingshao Academy is in the limelight, and no one dares to provoke Lingshao Academy. So far, no alien strongman dares to come here to rescue. However, some strongmen from other countries attack Tianjiao. And more than once, these strong men from other worlds were originally fairyland. They entered the nirvana and were promoted to the king of the world. It is said that it is very difficult for the strong in the world to rush through the gate of the other world, but it is much easier for the strong in the fairyland, so they choose to rob here. These alien strongmen are extremely powerful. They rush into the natural calamity several times to attack the murderer Tianjiao, which makes the strong people of the human race panic and dare not cross the calamity at ease. Therefore, the disciples of the major forces need to be protected by the strong within the clan, otherwise it is extremely dangerous. There are even some forces that have formed the alliance to protect the looters. The strong members of dozens of powerful families have come out together to protect their disciples. But even so, they are still attacked many times by alien creatures with heavy casualties. The Terran strongmen hate them, but they are so cunning that they can't catch up with them. Sometimes there are dozens of sneak attack teams, and dozens of them run away in different directions. If they go after each other separately, they may be broken one by one. You know, some of these alien world kings are as powerful as half-step immortal. If they can't do it well, they will be killed. Therefore, the pride of the Terran people are frightened. In this state of mind, the failure rate is increasing rapidly, but the Terran has no way. Damned bastard, you have the guts to stop. As soon as Longchen arrived at the place where he was going to be robbed, he heard someone roaring in the distance, and then a winged creature flew in the direction of Longchen. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 43-32. It's an alien creature. It's full of chi and blood, and its prestige is amazing. It's just promoted to the king of the world, but its breath is as big as that of a half-step immortal. It just broke into the edge of natural disaster and attacked a Tianjiao. Thanks to being discovered early, the attack was intercepted, otherwise Tianjiao would die. See a living creature, dare to come alone to make trouble, the Terran strong angry, have to chase. But the speed of this creature is so fast that it can't catch up with even the half-step immortal level strong. As it flies farther and farther, it gnashes its teeth in anger, but there is no way. Poof, all of a sudden, a 7-color divine light broke through the body of the creature, which attracted the strong people of the human race to shout excitedly. Then they saw a golden figure rush to the creature in front of a blow to its head. Dragon dust! Someone exclaimed and recognized that the person who took the shot was the new generation of dragon dust. When dragon dust appeared, they were even more excited. However, when he saw that Longchen's cultivation was still in the fairyland, he could not help but look shocked. Longchen's realm had not broken through, but his strength was not what it had been. When the alien strongman just attacked, 7.5-step immortal strongmen stopped him at the same time, but he was still shocked by his attack and almost vomited blood. It can be seen how terrible his strength is. But even if such a terrible strong man, in front of the dragon dust in the fairyland, he didn't even have the strength to fight back. They can also see that Longchen can actually kill it with one blow. The reason why they attack twice is to search for souls. Buzz, Longchen's big hand smashed the head of the creature, smashed its soul, and explored its soul fragments. Longchen found that the creature did not come from the uninhabited world, but from a place called the wilderness. The great wilderness is different from the no man's world. There are also human race in the great wilderness. However, the human race there is the lowest living creature in the great wilderness. Their cultivation is limited and they are kept as slaves. The Terrans are controlled by them. They dig mines, build palaces, and build weapons for them. In the wilderness, human lives are lower than ants. They kill and plunder the Terrans, and the Terrans live a miserable life. Looking for death. When you see these pictures from the memory of the living beings, the dragon dust suddenly kills. These living beings are more hateful than those in the uninhabited world. Dean Longchen, why are you here? A strong man of Lingshao Academy appeared. When he saw Longchen, he rushed forward to salute him. Although he was a half-step immortal strong man, he still wanted to salute Longchen. "I'll come and have a look." Long Chen's face is gloomy, and he hasn't recovered from his anger. Dean Long Chen, you are really powerful. We admire you. What do you see from his soul? A half-step immortal old man has a look of admiration. Several of them failed to stop the creature, but Long Chen waved his hand to kill it. There was a huge difference in strength. Since ancient times, the strong were respected, so he used the name Yu. Dragon Dust will see the picture, said with the public. The public face suddenly changed. Damn, these animals are deceiving people too much. A grumpy old man yelled at him on the spot. They were furious when they learned that their fellow countrymen had been kept in captivity as slaves, had been chained to work, and lived a life as if they were dead. It's too hateful. If you don't take revenge, you will swear not to be a human being. As long as I have a breath, I'll fight with them all my life. These older generation of strong people, gnashing their teeth, obviously cannot accept the news. Dean Long Chen, the deputy lord of the hall, is right in front of us. Please come and have a chat with us. The old man of Lingshao Academy said. Long Chen nodded, and as the people went to the depth of the place, there was an endless thunder in front of them. There were hundreds of strong people here. On the periphery of the place, the strong men of the major forces surrounded the place and did not dare to relax. They were afraid that if they were not careful, they would be attacked by the strong men of other races. When the dragon dust came, it caused a great shock. It is obvious that the most powerful person in the young generation, even in the hearts of the older generation, also has a supreme position. They all know that with the strength of Long Chen, once they are promoted to the king of the world, they will be like mole ants in front of Long Chen. Long Chen saw that hundreds of thousands of disciples were waiting around. It was obvious that they were waiting in line for the robbery. Hundreds of people at a time? What year and month will it take? Long Chen can't help but frown. In this case, when the door is opened, the strong young man of Nirvana can't complete the robbery. There's no way. If there are too many people robbing, we can't take care of them. This is our limit. A half-step immortal level strong cannot help but sigh. The voice is full of helplessness. Long Chen, why are you here? When Long Chen arrived, Bai Zhantong was surprised. Long Chen was shocked to see that Bai Zhantong was immortal. The older generation of strong people in Lingshao Academy have been hiding too deeply, and their accomplishments have always been enigmatic. Long Chen did not speak, suddenly saw a creature lying on the ground. Long Chen did not expect. This person is the Dark Knight clan. But it was dying, and it was not far from death. There was no wound on it, but the fire of the soul was about to go out. The master is very good. Long Chen looks at Bai Shaole's mother behind the white exhibition hall, can't help but stretch out a thumb, can kill an invisible. I'm afraid only this pupil master. Bai Shaole's mother smiles, but Bai Zhantong is a little upset. Ask you, don't hurry to flatter. Bai Shaole's mother suddenly gave Bai Zhantong a look. This guy really can't speak. Long Chen said with a smile, my brothers are about to start robbing. I'll step on a plate in advance. Step on the plate all came out. Do you think it's sneaking? Bai Zhantong is a bit speechless. Stepping on the plate is slang. Before the thief starts, he should observe the target terrain first. He still knows this. Long Chen doesn't think so and says with a smile, what's the situation here? What else? As you can see, these guys are just as boring as flies. They sneak attack and run away, making it impossible for people to defend themselves. These children can't be affected by other people's natural disasters when they are going through the robbery. Our absolute control can only provide for hundreds of people to go through the robbery at the same time. How painful is that Bai Zhantong didn't have a good way. When he talked about these sneakers, he was very angry. Therefore, once he can catch these sneakers, Bai Zhantong will certainly beat them to pieces, otherwise he will be angry to death. However, they are very passive. It's good to catch them 2 or 3 times in 10 sneak attacks. When they watch the troublemakers run away from under their eyes, Bai Zhantong's fiery temper is almost mad. Pay attention to your image. Don't take everything out. Bai Shishi's mother couldn't help saying. Long Chen said with a smile, it's okay. I come here to solve this problem. Let me have it. To you? White exhibition hall stares an eye way. Well, give it to me, and I promise that no one who dares to sneak will get away. A smile appeared on Long Chen's face, but in his eyes he was full of cold intention to kill. The creatures in the wilderness completely angered him. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 43:33, 10,000 people at the same time? Is that all right? When hearing this news, Bai Zhantong and others were startled. They could hardly believe their ears. In addition, it's not a regional operation, but a joint operation. I'm afraid it's going to be crazy. It's a robbery by the king of the world. If you can't do it well, you'll be killed. If several people go through the robbery together and interact with each other, it will enhance the power of the robbery. If you can't do it well, you'll have to destroy the group. What's more, they can't even think about it at the same time. It's not a joke. All right, leave it to me. Seeing that Bai Zhantong and others were shocked, Long Chen didn't bother to explain and said to the disciples of the academy, "Brothers, can you trust me?" "Certainly." These college students, together with Long Chen, once fought against Tianjiao of all ethnic groups in the challenge arena. At that time, they had already ignored life and death. It can be said that their lives were all picked up, and they are full of worship and trust in Long Chen. Now when they listen to Long Chen's words, they immediately respond with the most firm tone. "Well, don't say anything. First, 10,000 brothers, listen to me." With the order of Long Chen, the disciples of the academy gathered quickly. Almost all the disciples of the academy rushed forward. As a result, many people didn't rush because they were slow. And those disciples who came up first were excited. Bai Shishi's mother and others sighed. Long Chen's appeal ability was too strong. This is his personal charm. This group of disciples did not know how dangerous it was to carry out robbery collectively. It was even an extremely absurd idea. But this group of disciples don't care. Even if Long Chen asks them to go to the battlefield and fight with the enemy, they will rush up without hesitation. Their trust in Long Chen is beyond the scope of ordinary people's understanding. Lei Ling Air, with the call of Long Chen, Leilinger appears as a beautiful girl immediately. However, at this time, her face is arrogant and indifferent, which is not the same as usual. This is what Long Chen taught her to do. Show high coldness and reluctance. Don't get too excited. These brothers will trouble you to take care of them. Long Chen pretends to be a boxer. "Brother Long Chen, don't worry." Lei Ling Air nodded seriously, but her eyes were full of smiles. Obviously, acting is not what she is good at. "Let's go." In the spotlight, 10,000 college students came to the core area of the place where they were going to be robbed, and all the other students stepped back to wait and see. Boom! With the order of Long Chen, the 10,000 academy students burst out and hit the bottleneck one after another. Then they covered the sky and robbed the clouds, and came with a violent atmosphere. At that moment, everyone's hearts suddenly tightened. 10,000 students of the academy went through the robbery together. The pressure of the robbery was several times stronger in an instant, and the scope was even greater, covering hundreds of thousands of miles of space. In this way, the protective circle has to move outwards. In this way, some people are full of worries. If the protective circle expands, their defense will be weak. At this time, they are hard to react to the attack. Don't be afraid. They may not dare to get close to such a large-scale natural disaster. Once captured by the natural disaster, they will die. We just need to guard against their long-range attack. Even if it's a long-range attack, it will be blocked by the natural calamity, its power will be reduced, and even it may not be able to attack them, so it will be submerged by the natural calamity. Now what we need to worry about is whether these children can survive, but it's against the will of heaven, a strong man can't help saying. Boom! At this moment, the cloud trembled, and the endless arrow of thunder poured down like a rainstorm. The hearts of all the older generation of strong people clattered all of a sudden, because the ordinary disciples were robbing. The first wave of heaven's calamity was a drizzle, followed by a torrential rain, followed by a thunderbolt arrow, which had a process of adaptation. However, at this time, Tianjia skipped the warm-up and took it seriously. It didn't give these disciples the chance to adapt. Puff, puff, puff. It's just the first wave of natural calamity. Many disciples can't hold it. They are pierced by the thunder arrow. They have to fight against it and protect the key points. They have to protect their lives first. As for the others, they can't care about them anymore. All of a sudden, these disciples become flustered. Before the blood, as if poured on a basin of cold water, they finally feel the fear. Dean Longchen, it's no good. Seeing this scene, an elder of the academy couldn't help shouting that he was in a bit of a hurry. If he went on like this, the 10,000 disciples would be killed by heaven. I can't see it, but I can't help it. I can't stop it. Dragon dust stand hands, a face helpless tunnel. You. The elder was furious. Elder Shufeng, don't worry. Longchen is joking with you. He knows it in his heart. Seeing that the elder was going to be impatient, Bai Shishi's mother quickly advised with a smile. Seeing that the old man seemed really anxious, Longchen also said with a smile, I'm joking with you. Don't take it seriously. I'm here to compensate you. The elder was speechless for a while. Longchen was the president of the branch. How could he make such a joke? It's really a joke. However, although he is a half-step immortal level strong, but Longchen is the president of the branch, he is not qualified to blame Longchen. It is Bai Shishi's mother who knows Longchen better. She knows that although Longchen is young, he is always calm in his work. If he is not sure about something, he will not do it, let alone make fun of the college students' lives. Don't stand up to it honestly. Can't you just fight back? When will the robbery last that day? Launch an attack on the robbery, finish it quickly and start the next wave. All the brothers behind are waiting for you. Don't delay. Longchen shouts at the sky. Buzz, at this time, countless people exclaimed, Tianke trembled, and a divine light shot at Longchen. It was obvious that Longchen's words interfered with Tianke and was captured by Tianke. Tianjia attacks Longchen, which frightens everyone. Bai Zhantong and other powerful people retreat quickly for fear that they will be affected by Tianjia. They are not afraid of being hurt, but of provoking Tianjia. If Tianjia becomes Tianzhen's, these 10,000 disciples will turn into ashes in a moment. Boom, Longchen slaps the thunder in the past, and the thunder is smashed by Longchen's slap. For him, it's not even a tickle. Come on, be a man, don't hesitate. Longchen yells. As a result, Tianjia trembled, and a 10,000 Li thunder gun gathered together, whistling at Longchen. This blow was 100 times stronger than the previous one. Obviously, the previous blow was a warning, but this blow was to kill Longchen. Bang! The thunder spear was smashed by the slap of Longchen. Longchen attacked Tianjia twice in a row, which brought great confidence to the soldiers. God damn it, fight it! A disciple of the academy gritted his teeth and roared. In the eyes of countless people, he went up against the current and rushed to the cloud of disaster. He even took the initiative to attack the disaster. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 43-34 Kill. Someone took the lead, and the other disciples were crazy and rushed to rob Cloud. Crazy. The strong men on the scene felt numb. They believed in Longchen so much. Boom boom. As these disciples rushed to Tianjia, they seemed to be furious for a moment. The cloud was like a cauldron. The thunder arrow turned into a thunder spear and stabbed down. Puff, puff, puff. Some disciples even blocked the spear, but the blood was gushing. What's more, they were directly pierced by the spear. The fierce thunder wrapped them up, and even their bodies were scorched. But even so, these disciples still remember Longchen's words, and rushed up desperately. Dozens of the three extreme supremacies went up against the current and rushed directly into the cloud. Roar! Among the clouds, thunder monsters appeared to repel them, but the soldiers still rushed up. Poof! All of a sudden, a three-pole supremacy was pierced by a beast, and the thunder beast was about to tear it to pieces. Boom! Suddenly, a black thunder arrow flew by, directly smashing the thunder beast and saving the man. A small figure appeared, which was Lei Linger. Lei Linger is bathed in the calamity. These thunders are great tonics for her. Naturally, she will not let them go. However, now is not the time to absorb, only when people cannot bear, she can enjoy. Those weaker disciples, when their bodies have reached the limit, are wrapped up by thunder dragons. The thunderbolts that attack them are absorbed by thunder dragons. The appearance of Lei Linger makes these disciples feel refreshed. They finally understand why Longchen let them attack Tianke. They keep releasing their energy. On the one hand, they can rapidly consume their energy, so that they will not instinctively defend against thunder, but can better absorb the power of natural disaster. On the other hand, there are so many forces in the sky. If they keep attacking the sky, they will quickly consume the power of the sky and shorten the time of crossing the sky. At last, those three extremely powerful people have reached the limit, but they are strong enough to not need the protection of Hualing. After their bodies are saturated, the disaster dissipates. Before and after, only half an hour later, 10,000 people have completed the robbery. Moreover, because of the protection of Hualinger, they don't need to keep it. They can be baptized by the robbery with confidence. The effect of the promotion is very good. After the promotion of Jie Wang, their breath is very solid. It won't be long before they can directly enter the realm of Jie Wang. When they saw such a good effect, everyone was shocked. Even the disciples of the robbery couldn't believe it, as if they were in a dream. Next batch, Dragon Dust Light Tunnel. With a successful example, people feel much more relieved. This time, the strong of other forces also came to discuss terror and let their disciples join in. Before, they just watched the excitement. If they let Longchen give up, they would not agree to let the disciples take risks, but now it's different. And this time, the number of dragon dust will increase to 30,000, because she has complained that although the sky robbery is strong, but the essence is not much, the energy she can absorb is very limited. She needs more thunder essence. Obviously, the ordinary thunder force she cannot see. In the second wave, 30,000 people were robbed. Although many people were worried, they did not dare to question it. This time, half of the people from Lingshao Academy came out, and the other half came from the major forces. When enough people were gathered, they began to carry out the robbery directly. This time, it's still the same as just now. Although the scope of the disaster is larger, with the protection of Lei Linger, everything is familiar. The number of the third wave increased to 50,000, and the fourth wave increased to 80,000. When the fifth wave of Dragon Dust planned to increase to 100,000, it was found that it could no longer summon heaven. What's the situation? 100,000 disciples stood in the same place and looked at the sky. They were all dumbfounded. Even the older generation of strong people were stunned. They had never seen such a situation. There are too many robbers in this place, which makes the way of heaven lose money. I'm afraid it will take time for the way of heaven to recover. Bai Shaole's mother opens her 3 pupils and looks into the void. In her eyes, the world in front of her formed a huge hole, and the forces of heaven around her poured in like the tide. However, it will take at least a few hours to make up for the deficit in this part of the world. Today's situation has subverted everyone's cognition. No one has ever thought of such a way of robbery that is almost cheating. What about Lei Linger? Longchen asks Lei Linger, who has returned to chaotic space. I feel great now. I'm full of strength and my body is beginning to transform. Lei Linger changed his seriousness and said with a smile. Longchen also saw that Lei Linger began to have the breath of the king of the world. Her thunder power also changed qualitatively. Unfortunately, their thunder power is still too weak. I'm looking forward to Brother Longchen's disaster. Lei Linger's pretty face was full of expectation, just like a greedy snack waiting for a big meal. I can't get away with that meal, but you have to improve yourself quickly, otherwise the food won't be too hard to bite. Longchen said with a smile. Both the dragon strongman and his father said that his Jiawang robbery would be terrifying, and for the first time, Longchen felt a strong sense of oppression. This is something he has never had before. He has a premonition that many causes and effects of this natural disaster will be cleared. I'm afraid that he will really die. Therefore, he has to make Lei Linger become strong first, so that when he goes through the robbery, Lei Linger can really help. Lei Linger is his life-saving card. A few hours later, the way of heaven finally recovered, and at this time, the strong of the major forces have flocked to Longchen for help. Because the news that Longchen can help others to survive the robbery is like flying out with wings. Countless strong people are inspired by the news and come for help one after another. Even some forces say that if Longchen is willing to help, they are willing to sign a soul agreement. No matter what difficulties Lingxiao Academy has in the future, they will certainly give their best help. Dean Longchen, now the alien creatures are making trouble everywhere, and the human race is suffering. You must take us in. That's to say, we are all human race. We should keep watch and help each other at this time. Otherwise, how can we fight against the alien race in the future? Numerous representatives of the sect come forward and ask Longchen for help. Longchen looks at these people with a look of irony on his face. Have you forgotten what you did when I was chased and killed by the powerful people of all ethnic groups at the Holy King's Assembly? At this time, these strong people's faces became ugly. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 43:35. When Longchen said this, he made these strong men feel embarrassed, because when Longchen was chased at the Holy King's Assembly, they chose to sit on the mountain and watch the tiger fight, and lie on the bridge and watch the current. Those who have helped Longchen will not refuse, and these forces contact Lingxiao Academy for the first time. Lingxiao Academy also agrees that they can come here to rob. But these forces who came after hearing the news were different. They chose to be wise and protect themselves in the Holy King's Assembly, but now they have the cheek to ask for help. What Longchen said suddenly made them ashamed. Dean Longchen, you have a large number of adults, so don't worry about it with us. Besides, when is the time? We should unite and put the overall situation first. An old man couldn't help saying, well, we need to be united and focus on the overall situation. When I and my brothers were besieged by countless foreign powerful people, why didn't you think that we should be united and focus on the overall situation? What a double sign. You can stand by and I will take the overall situation as the priority? I ask you what? Longchen sneers. That's right. But in the challenge arena, Elder Martial Brother Longchen tried his best to protect us. Outside the challenge arena, Elder Martial Brother Longchen ran away with us and never left anyone behind. And you? It's really a big face to draw a nose on a piece of paper. A disciple sneered. Still united? Have you ever united? Do you see yourself as a member of the human race? That is, who knows, when the gate of the alien world is opened, will you be the first to turn to them to deal with your own people? Longchen's disciples who are waiting for the rescue, and those who have finished the rescue, but still stay here, are filled with righteous indignation and scolding to the strong who don't have the disciples to protect the Dharma. Most of the strong people who can come here are those who are killed from the Holy King's challenge arena with Longchen. Some of them are from humble origins and have no immortal level strong people in their families. But Lingxiao Academy never refused them. As long as they could come, they were welcome. Even when they could only protect 100 people at a time, they did not give up on them. This makes them very moved, and that's why, with the order of Longchen, they will join tens of thousands of people in the robbery. That's because they have absolute trust in Longchen. Now I see these guys appear, and I have the cheek to ask to join the rescue team. Even they can't see it anymore. The old man was pointed to the nose by a younger boy, and his face turned red, but he did not dare to refute. Dean Longchen, we know it's our fault. If you are angry, we old bones, even if we kneel down and kowtow to you, it's nothing. But our disciples are innocent. You can't blame them for our stupid decisions. They are still young and have a bright future. If their bright future is ruined by us old muddleheads, we are really to blame for our death. An old man stood up with a sad face and knelt down to Longchen slowly. Who, with a wave of Longchen's big hand, the old man's body was shocked and he stepped back a few steps. He couldn't kneel down at all. Dean Longchen, do you really refuse to forgive us these fatuous old guys? The old man's face was hopeless, and even shed 2 lines of muddy tears. Shut up, Longchen sneered. It's easy to change, but it's hard to change your nature. It's because you've asked me that you're so humble. You're in a tearful posture. Who can you show me? Moral kidnapping? I've seen a lot of this routine. It doesn't make any sense. I've never been a gentleman. As long as I don't have morality, others can't kidnap me. As soon as Long Chen said this, Bai Shishi's mother pursed her mouth and looked at Bai Shaole's mother. They looked at each other and laughed. Long Chen's mouth was really powerful, hard and soft. Hearing what Long Chen said, the old man had to shake his head and sigh, with a helpless look on his face. However, deep in his eyes, he had a trace of resentment, but he did not dare to show it. It doesn't make any sense for you to ask me that. Did I say that they are not allowed to come here to rob? Dragon Dust Light Tunnel. What? Originally, those people were ready to leave, but they couldn't believe their ears when they heard Long Chen's words. Lingshao Academy is the academy of the world. All the classics of Lingshao Academy are the treasures of the whole human race, and the academy is just the trustee. In the same way, the holy land of the academy is open to the whole human race. Anyone can rob here. Long Chen rode. That means that you agree with our disciples to rob here? An old man's voice trembled. Anytime, of course. Long Chen's stall. May I ask if our disciples can be protected by you when they go through the robbery? An old man was more shrewd and asked the key point. It's useless to come here for robbery. If there is no help from Long Chen, it doesn't make any sense at all. When others attack, Long Chen doesn't care. If he is killed by thunder, it doesn't matter. It's useless for robbery here. You want to go through the robbery with us? Long Chen looks at the disciples behind the strong. All of a sudden, the disciples were silent. No one dared to say anything. They were ashamed and did not dare to respond. I can't even let out a fart. I'd better dig a hole to bury myself if I'm still practicing a little. Long Chen sneers. Yes, we want to survive under your protection. Finally, a young disciple got angry and stood up. Then I ask you, I have protected you. When I am in trouble in the future, will you go down the drain and stab me and the Terran? Long Chen's face is solemn. No, absolutely not. I can swear by my soul that I can be loyal to Elder Martial Brother Long Chen all my life. The disciple said in a loud voice. What if one day, I become a bad person and start killing people and stabbing my own kind? Long Chen asked. This. The disciple was stunned and didn't know how to answer for a moment. Other people were also surprised. They didn't know what Long Chen's words meant, but it was a bit frightening to listen to, and it made people feel scared. I can protect you from robbery, and I don't need anyone to be loyal to me, but I need you to swear to your heart that you will always be righteous, loyal to the human race, never driven by interests, never oppressed by threats, and never do anything unconscionable. Long Chen cheers coldly. I swear that I will always be just loyal to the human race, never driven by interests, never oppressed by threats, never do anything unconscionable. When Long Chen finished, countless disciples came out one after another, raised their hands to heaven and drank loudly. Seeing these disciples swear, a smile appears on Long Chen's face. In this way, even if the older generation betrays the Terran, the new generation will not be led astray by them. Bai Shishi's mother and Bai Shaole's mother, as well as Bai Zhantang, all nodded in secret. They saw Long Chen's intention and had to say that Long Chen's means were very clever. This kind of swearing to heaven, especially in front of strong men like Long Chen, has great deterrent power. If they dare to betray the oath, as long as Long Chen is still alive, it will bring them huge psychological obstacles and form a heart demon, and they will not dare to attack the god in their whole life. Those who have made vows all come to line up. The first wave of 100,000 disciples begin to gather. When 100,000 people have gathered together, Long Chen will be happy. With so many robbers, Laozi must make Lei Linger an immortal and strong man. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 43-36 The news of the Dragon Dust Gang's robbery spread in all directions. As long as it's a human race, or a race friendly with the human race, it can come. The Terran strongman only needs to swear that he will never betray the Terran and that he will always have justice. then he can join the banditry team. In this way, even if it is with the power of dragon dust, you can also let the disciples to rob dragon dust. This behavior let countless strong people moved. No matter where the disciples come from, what their talent is, what their background is, they just come, make an oath, and wait for the line to cross the robbery. Because there are too many people who want to rob, the Holy Land of Lingshao Academy alone can't be busy. Every 100,000 people who want to rob need to rest for an hour before they can carry out the next robbery. Long Chen thought that the speed was too slow. Under normal circumstances, he could cross 4 robberies in an hour. Therefore, Long Chen ordered people to build an ultra-long-distance transmission array. When the robbery is over here, the dragon dust will be sent directly to another place. After all, there are several holy places for robbery in Niangshan. At the end of a Holy Land robbery, Long Chen rushes to the next place. As soon as the people arrive, they immediately rob. The way of heaven needs to rest, but Long Chen doesn't. Long Chen, the 4 holy places for looting, goes to the market in turn. After a busy circle of the 4 holy places for looting, the Holy Land of the Academy can be looted again. Long Chen escorts the ransacking of the Terran disciples. Those alien troublemakers are killed by Lei Linger before they can get close to Tianjia. Lei Linger's strength is 1 point stronger after every robbery. Her strength is growing rapidly, stronger and stronger, and has gradually surpassed the dragon dust. And those who want to escape have no chance to escape. In front of the speed of Long Chen, they have to die in despair. Long Chen is busy all day, which makes countless strong people appreciate and worship him. Some people urge him to have a rest. After all, he also wants to attack the king of the world, so he can't delay his practice. These kind persuasion, Long Chen declined. Still day and night for these disciples' escort, countless people moved at the same time. Long Chen himself is happy to bloom. Because Lei Linger is more and more powerful, even he feels numb. Fortunately, Lei Linger is not his pet, but his relatives. If it is a pet, once Lei Linger eats the owner, he will die. Lei Linger is more and more powerful, but Long Chen doesn't dare to expose her, but it's no good not to expose her, because Lei Linger's breath has a tendency to gradually hide. So Long Chen came up with a way: let Lei Linger condense 9 parts, divide the strength into 9 parts, rest of the parts rest, only 1 part work, so that you can keep the breath unchanged. So, in a few days, tens of thousands of Lei Linger's avatars have appeared in the chaotic space, and each avatar carries a terrible smell. On the side of Long Chen, he madly helped the Terran to survive. The 4 holy places took turns. Every day, tens of millions of Tianjiao successfully survived, and no one died. With the passage of time, fewer and fewer people came to carry out the robbery. Gradually, there was no need for 4 holy places. 4 holy places changed into 3, 3 into 2. 20 days later, there was only 1 Lingshao Academy left. Although there are so many pride in the human race, they can't stand this way. Later, it took several hours to gather up 100,000 people, and fewer people survived. And Lei Linger's separation has reached millions. Even so, every separation of these millions has a terrible smell, but Lei Linger dare not merge. Because once fused, her body will change qualitatively. Once fused, it's useless to incarnate into a million parts body, because the breath is totally different. After another 2 days, only 70,000 people went through the robbery together, and no one came again. It's gone. Lei Linger is a little disappointed. Obviously, she still has room to rise, but no one has been robbed. Lei Linger, let's find a place where you can integrate the parts and see how far they are. Long Chen rode. Yeah. Lei Linger has long wanted to merge. With the mention of Long Chen, she can't wait. Long Chen, thank you so much. In front of the Holy Land, tens of thousands of immortal strong men salute Long Chen. Many of these old guys are living fossils. They have already lived for a long time, just to frighten some old enemies. Now chaos is pouring in. Although they can't advance, Shouyuan will increase a lot. At least they won't die in a few hundred years. In order to fight for opportunities for the disciples, and also to show their sincerity, they all personally sent their disciples to the rescue. The disciples did not leave after the robbery. Instead, they guarded the Holy Land together to ensure the absolute safety of the place. Now that no one has gone through the robbery, seeing that Longchen is leaving, everyone stands up one after another to thank him. You're welcome. To help others is to help yourself. But there's something else I want to ask you for help. Longchen rode. Dean Longchen said that it's okay, as long as we can do it, even if it's going through fire and water, even if it's a disaster. An old man was excited. Among his disciples, 3 of them were highly gifted. There was a trace of chaos in the visions of the time when he was crossing the robbery. This was a sign of taking root in chaos, which meant that these disciples had hoped to ascend immortality in the future. He was so excited that he burst into tears, because the clan he lived in had fallen. If he hadn't survived and shocked some curfew people, the clan would have been destroyed. Now there are successors in Zongmen. He is no longer supported by a dying old man. His gratitude to Longchen cannot be expressed in words. The elder is serious. I have something to leave. Please stay here for a few more days. If someone comes, please help me to protect myself from being attacked by the outlandish people. Longchen said with a smile. Dean Longchen, don't worry. If we can't do this little thing well, we'll have no face to see you. We'd better dig a hole and bury ourselves here, so as not to go back and make a fool of ourselves. An old man laughed. Other strong people also laugh. Longchen nods and waves goodbye. Looking at the eyes of the older generation of strong people, a touch of warmth rises in Longchen's heart. People are complex and changeable, but the shining side of human nature is always the most touching. The kind of sincere eyes convey the most pure emotion. If people can be simpler, how good it would be. The golden wings behind the dragon dust quiver, and people rush to the distance. Half an hour later, the dragon dust comes to a desolate place. Boom! Millions of lei linger appear in the world. Wait a minute, Longchen suddenly exclaimed. Boom, but he called late millions of lei ling air instant fusion. That moment, heaven and earth lost their voice, followed by the fury of the atmosphere, like a tsunami in all directions. Boom! The earth burst open, the void cracked, the dragon dust was hit like a meteor, and a mouthful of blood gushed out. You silly child, I told you to wait. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 43-37 Boom. The terrible thunder burst, and the dragon dust was hit and flew. Before he had time to open the protection, his 5 internal organs were displaced, his eyes were full of stars, and he rolled out all the way, smashing the continuous mountains. I don't know how far it went, but the dragon dust stopped. At this time, a thunder flew by and rushed to the dragon dust. Brother Longchen. Lei Linger exclaimed. Don't come here. Dragon dust exclaimed, at the same time, the first time, summoned the Dragon King battle body. Boom, Lei Linger rushes over with a huge shock wave. Before she gets close to the dragon dust, the huge shock wave will shake the dragon dust away again. But fortunately, this time, the dragon dust opened the protection, but was shocked to fly, but was not injured. Sorry, Brother Longchen, I didn't know it would be like this. Looking at Longchen in a mess, the corner of his mouth is still with blood. Lei Linger immediately cries with heartache. Silly girl, I'm okay. You've become stronger. My brother is very happy. Longchen quickly comforts him. His heart is full of warmth. No matter how strong Lei Linger is, her heart will never change. Longchen comes forward to comfort Lei Linger, but finds that Lei Linger has a strong protective shield around her. That's because her strength is too strong to control. Seeing Longchen smiling and comforting, Lei Linger burst into tears and smile. The thunder surged around her, and the space of tens of thousands of miles turned into a sea of thunder. The atmosphere of fury was like the coming of doom, with endless will to destroy. Lei Linger's thunder force constantly washes the heaven and earth, and bursts into a roar. That kind of rhythm seems to be Lei Linger's breath, which affects the operation of the way of heaven. Dragon Dust's face is full of ecstasy. Lei Linger's power is stronger than he imagined. Even if he meets immortal level strong, even if he can't fight, he will definitely have a fighting power. This time, Lei Linger is really breaking out. Long Chen let Lei Linger begin to learn to control this power, but Lei Linger's soul power is not enough, need to rely on the power of Long Chen. But now Lei Linger can't enter the chaotic space, her power can't be controlled, and it will hurt the wood of the sun and the wood of the Tayin. That's why the dragon dust makes her integrate with the outside world. Long Chen accompanied Lei Linger to refine the power of thunder and let Lei Linger gradually control them. One day later, the thunder sea around Lei Linger shrank to only 100 miles away, and then Long Chen brought it into chaos. After entering the chaotic space, Lei Linger can digest and absorb it by himself, and Long Chen returns to the academy for the first time. After returning to the academy, Long Chen also entered a closed state. He needed to adjust his essence, qi and spirit to the peak state. At the same time, we should adjust our thoughts, let ourselves forget things, abandon all thoughts, and let ourselves be clear. Only in this way can we reach the most powerful state when we go through the robbery. 7 days later, Long Chen went out of the pass, and the dragon blood soldiers had all assembled. To the shock of Long Chen, all the dragon blood soldiers put on new armor and new weapons. When he saw Long Chen's shocked face, Guo Ran said triumphantly, "Boss, what's up? It's something Xia Chen and I work together day and night to make." "Is that too fast? What level of armor is this?" Long Chen asked. "The armor and weapons have no level. All the materials are made of the best immortal gold and iron. They are all used to make immortal magic soldiers. But I have studied with Xia Chen. With the strength of both of us, if we want to build an immortal magic weapon, we need to at least advance the divine realm. We can't wait that long, so we've come up with a new way to create growing armor and weapons. We intend to enlighten these armor and weapons through the power of looting and the blood and soul of our brothers. I've calculated with Xia Chen that the success rate is very high. Of course, the premise is that the disaster must be strong enough." Guo Ran is full of confidence. Seeing that Guo Ran was so confident, Long Chen nodded. In other aspects, Guo Ran was unreliable, but in terms of casting, this guy was not ambiguous at all. "Will this armor affect your brother's dragon blood fighting body?" Long Chen asked. "Of course not. Once the armor is awakened, it will melt into the body and summon out with the mind. It's only used when the dragon's blood battle body can't stand it, and the armor that Xia Chen and I made belongs to the charging armor. There is a space in the armor. There are chaotic spirit stones in the space, which are matched with their weapons. They can attack and defend each other. When the power of dragon's blood is exhausted, the strength of using this set of armor and weapons is enough for the brothers to fight out of the siege. This is the bottom card to protect their lives." Guo Ran said with a smile. Niobe, hearing Guo Ran's explanation, Long Chen can't help but give a thumbs up. Guo Ran and Xia Chen's idea is really powerful. Come on, it's our turn to get through the robbery. As soon as they heard that they could finally get through the robbery, they were very excited. Once they got through the robbery, they were the king of the world. The dragon blood on them needs to go through the baptism of natural calamity to really wake up. They don't know what kind of promotion they will usher in after the calamity. However, they have a hunch that after the robbery, they will be completely reborn, and they will never be the same as before. Inform the other brothers that they are ready to assemble. Long Chen said to Guo Ran. "Hey, there's no need to inform. We've been gathering 3 days ago. The Temple of War, the strongest elites in the academy, and the more than 7 million disciples of Xinghe sect are all here. I'm waiting for you to get out of the gate." Guo Ran said with a smile. "Well, let's go." When Long Chen came to the gate of the academy, as Guo Ran said, the 3 most powerful people in the academy and the Temple of War God, and the disciples of Xinghe sect were all due. At the last Holy Kings meeting, there were more than 8 million strong people in Xinghe sect, including more than 7 million disciples in Fairyland. Long Chen has already sent out the news, asking the disciples of Xinghe Imai not to rob. Waiting for his news, now under the call of Long Chen, these disciples rush to come. When I see Long Chen again, the disciples of Xinghe sect are full of fire in their eyes and don't hide their worship. It can be said that Longchen changed the fate of all of them. Their enlightenment in the Xinghe site finally made them embark on the authentic practice route, and they no longer need to turn around in the same place. Dean Longchen, don't rob. Just at this time, a group of old people rushed over. They were a group of semi-immortal strong men with panic on their faces. Why? Longchen is surprised and asks in a hurry. The news just came that there are traders in front of the gate of the uninhabited world who provide transmission for them. A large number of Tianjiao of the uninhabited world have entered the nirvana. It is very likely that they are coming for you. An old man was anxious. After they heard the news, they came to inform Xia Chen and others immediately. When they heard the news, they could not help but be surprised and angry. Finally, there was a trader in the Terran. Boss, it's not good. If it's one of the 9 monsters. Xia Chen couldn't help saying that the 9 men were too terrible. If they had been promoted to the king of the world, they would have been destroyed if they attacked while they were going through the robbery. Cut, even if the 9 monsters come together? Still beat their heads into dogs' heads. Let's go and see if they have the courage to make trouble. Longchen is full of pride and disdain. Come to Laozi's Tianjia to have a try. They'll see if you are tired of living. Longchen thanks those strong people for their kindness, so with the team, he rushes to the Holy Land. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 43-38 Boss, is that really okay? Guoran secretly asks Longchen. Don't worry, in my disaster, whoever comes will die, even if all the strong men of the whole uninhabited world come to me in vain. Longchen wrote. Longchen is not confident in himself, but confident in the horror of his natural disaster. Then why don't we choose to rob in no man's land? Guoran asked. Are you a fool? Even if I'm robbing in no man's world, these guys know they're going to die, and they're going to rush into heaven? Longchen doesn't have a good way to say that this boy is just like a fool except for casting tools. Oh, that's right. Guoran patted his forehead. They can completely wait for Longchen to go through the robbery and deal with him when he is in a weak state. At that time, Longchen had no resistance at all. Don't think about too many good things. They really dare to make trouble in the sky. It's no different from death. If they make a move, they will definitely choose to launch a fierce attack at the moment when the robbery ends. You should have a psychological preparation. But you don't have to worry too much, because we'll go through the robbery together. I'm sure we'll finish it at last. When your body is saturated, you can get out of the scope of the natural disaster. When my natural disaster is finished, you will naturally advance. Everything will be done according to the old way. Longchen wrote. In the past, Longchen and all the people were involved in the robbery together. It took the whole robbery to end before everyone could advance. However, at the end of each robbery, Longchen was the only one to hold on, and others had time to fix it. When the robbery ended, they advanced to the king of the world, and their bodies were still at their peak. The place Longchen chose was not the holy land of Lingshao Academy, but a wasteland. Because there are too many people and they are going to rob soon, the breath is not stable, so we can't use the teleport array to avoid affecting the state of the robbers. It took 3 hours for everyone to come to this desolate place. When Longchen and others came here, dense figures had gathered here. Elder Martial Brother Longchen, we'll protect the Dharma for you. You can go through the robbery safely. As long as we have a breath, no one is allowed to make trouble. When the dragon dust comes, the roar comes, and hundreds of millions of strong people shout in unison. Among these people, there are disciples who have just completed the robbery, and there are also strong men of the older generation. They all recite Longchen's kindness and take the initiative to protect Longchen's Dharma, because they also heard the news that strong people from other worlds were coming to make trouble. They didn't care about anything. They rushed from every corner of Nirvana, and even some of the closed disciples gave up. When you see so many people waving flags and shouting for Longchen, even Longchen feels blood surging up, and even has an impulse to cry. There are so many people's support, enough to prove his recognition, Although Long Chen never asked for return, but in the face of such enthusiasm, he is still very moved. Long Chen gives a fist to these strong men and expresses his thanks to them. At the same time, he has more confidence in this natural disaster. An invisible force arises spontaneously in Long Chen's heart. And the lotus seed above the chaos space of Long Chen, I don't know when, has begun to be as bright as the rising sun, the golden divine light, sprinkled to every corner of the chaos space. In the endless cheers and shouts, Long Chen and others entered the core area of the Holy Land, while the strong people of the human race set up a human wall around them. Elder Martial Brother Long Chen, you should be careful. There are traitors in our Terran. Maybe some of us are traitors, and they are likely to attack you. Someone was shouting. That's right. I heard that someone helped the alien race and disguised them as an adult race. I can't tell them from each other at all. Another strong man yelled. Long Chen smiles and waves to the crowd to make them quiet. Then he says, "Don't worry, I am the master in my calamity. Let alone them, even if their immortal strongmen come, they will die. I'm very grateful that you can come here. Please do me a favor and continue to retreat. Our scope of natural disaster may be a little big." Hearing the overbearing words of Long Chen, people cheered and Long Chen asked them to retreat. Everyone began to retreat rapidly. Let's go. With the order of Long Chen, more than 7 million strong people have released their own breath, untied the seal of the body, and directly impacted the bottleneck. Boom boom. At the moment when people release their breath, the sky, which used to be sunny, darkens in an instant, and the world of hundreds of millions of miles is covered by robbed clouds in an instant. My God, it's so big. Originally, people thought that they had retreated far enough, but when they saw the scope of terror, they were scared to continue to retreat. If they were involved in the natural disaster, it would be bad. But if we go back, we won't be able to form a protective circle. Someone cried. Look at this posture. It's not sure who will protect you. Let's run. Don't talk nonsense. Don't help. If you can't help, you'll have to make trouble. Cheered a strong man of the older generation. On the one hand, it's a matter of propriety. After all, Long Chen has helped them a lot. They have to come over. Even if they don't need them, they have to support them. On the other hand, in case of a sneak attack by a strong man, they are still better than those new kings. After all, they want to contribute to Long Chen and return the favor in their lifetime. However, seeing the vast and boundless calamity, even the half-step immortal class strong felt a palpitation and ordered their disciples to retreat one after another. At this time, in the core of the disaster, a torrent of thunder poured down, like the pouring of the Tianhe River, hitting Long Chen and others hard. It's starting. People's hearts suddenly tightened. It was the first time that they saw such a huge scale of natural calamity. The first wave of natural calamity was like a river breaking its banks, which seemed to crush people directly, kill. In the moment when the disaster came down, Gu Yang stopped drinking, armed with a long gun, went up the thunder waterfall and rushed straight up. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Just when people were shocked by Gu Yang's action, Dao Da's sword light was cut down, and Jiutian robbed the cloud. He was cut down by that sword light, and instantly broke into several pieces. What? Some people exclaimed that they could see clearly at once that it was Yu Zifeng, the peerless sword who cut off the Holy King's challenge arena. God, these are monsters. Jushin Jiun is cut off. Through the gap, people can't see the thickness of the cloud. Yu Zifeng's sword spirit can even cut off Tianjian. At this time, the dragon blood soldiers, like a torrent, have been rushing up into the 9 days, and the divine light of the road surges, attacking and robbing clouds crazily. With the outbreak of the Dragon Blood Legion, the disciples of the Temple of War, Academy and Xinghe sect all rushed up. Only Long Chen stood on the ground. What happened? Elder Martial Brother Long Chen hasn't gone through the robbery yet. Someone exclaimed, and they noticed that the breath of dragon dust was still in the fairyland. Roar. At this time, roar, 9 days above, endless thunder beast appeared, in an instant surrounded everyone. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 43-39, Boom. Like bandits entering the market, the dragon blood soldiers rush into the plundering clouds and kill those thunderous beasts. In the past, people were passive to meet the natural calamity, but the dragon blood army took the initiative to attack. They had no fear of the natural calamity and fought frantically. Under the influence of the Dragon Blood Legion, the disciples of the Academy, the War Temple and the Xinghe sect all seemed crazy and took the initiative to kill those thunder beasts. Those thunderous beasts have amazing breath, thundering in the roar, and terrible pressure. Even those who are half-step strong in immortality are shocked. These thunder beasts have the strength of Tianzuan level strong, and the number is endless, without beginning or end. And the dragon blood soldiers, in the face of endless thunder beasts, are not soft-hearted. They come and go in the sky. Where there are more thunder beasts, they will kill wherever they go, for fear that they will kill less. Gu Yang, Li Qi, and Song Mingyuan fought against each other. They were all mixed up in the calamity. In front of them, those terrible thunder beasts were just like paper. They were totally vulnerable. The most terrifying thing is Yu Zifeng, who cuts down with one sword, tears away the plundering clouds ceaselessly, and empties the endless thunder beast in an instant and turns it into a rune all over the sky. At this time, they are just like hungry wolves, desperately devouring the fat in front of them. That kind of desire, that kind of madness makes people feel numb. This thunder beast is the last wave and the strongest wave when we go through the robbery, but it's nothing in front of them. A 3-extreme supremacy cannot help but hard to swallow a mouthful of saliva. They know the horror of those thunder beasts. They are as good as the gods. They are not afraid of 1-to-1, even 1-to-10. But in the disaster, they have to face the siege of hundreds of thunder beasts. Although they are protected by dragon dust, they know that they can't die, but they also kill very hard and frighten step by step. In front of the dragon blood army, these terrible thunder beasts are just like lambs to be slaughtered. Even the most ordinary dragon blood soldiers can fight back and forth in the endless sea of thunder beasts. Every time they chop, those thunder beasts will burst into pieces. They are stunned by the ferocious picture. In fact, the dragon blood soldiers are so desperate that they can't help it. They are afraid that the power of natural disaster is insufficient. They can't thoroughly refine their armor weapons and activate the dragon blood in their bodies. And they are even more afraid that the vision can't take root in chaos. The power of thunder is their way through the wall, so it can't be wasted at all. As they keep killing thunder beasts, the pure power of thunder is absorbed by the armor of magic soldiers. Strange patterns appear on the armor and weapons. They are the divine patterns specially made by Xia Chen and Guoran. When the divine patterns light up, it proves that the weapons resonate with their bodies. As long as the power of thunder is continuously injected into their bodies, the magic soldiers and armor will complete the enlightenment. Only then can their weapons be completely integrated with them. Nowadays, weapons and armor resonate, stimulating them to kill thunder monsters crazily, because in the fierce battle, they can even feel that they are growing stronger, giving birth to a sense of flesh and blood. Kill, even Guoran became crazy. He was dressed in gold armor, with gold wings on his back, holding a gold sword, just like the god of war made of gold. He had runes flowing all over his body and killed wildly. Guoran's armor is different from others' armor. It is made up of 360 parts. Each part has its own array blessing. He kills more crazily than others, because he needs hundreds of times as much energy as others to achieve war armor. In addition to Yu Zifeng, his lethality is the most terrifying. With his fighting, the more thunder runes he absorbs, the stronger his armor is, and his strength is rapidly improving. Boom! The appearance of Thunder Beast is just a time of burning incense, and then it disappears. Strange creatures appear in the sky. Then the sky cloud trembles and shrinks rapidly, like a cage, covering the dragon blood soldiers. People were shocked when they saw the change of natural disasters. Isn't this the arena of the king's assembly? Someone recognized the scene. However, this is the scene simulated by the disaster. There is no change on the ground, but countless creatures appear in the void. Those living creatures are dense, all of a sudden full of the sky. When you see those figures, people are surprised to open their mouths. Boom! The lotus appeared, and a figure killed him like lightning. When he saw that figure, someone exclaimed, "The undead have no shadow, that person is not others, is lotus no shadow." At this time if she appears in the sky, the breath is violent, unexpectedly already is the Boundary King's strong person. Boom! Gu Yang holds a long gun and fights with Lian Wuing. He hums and flies out like a meteor. Buzz! At this time, a long sword tore the void, from a very strange angle, from behind Gu Yang. "Is Yi Wuchen?" someone exclaimed. This person they all know. Impressively is Yi Wuchen and Zhao Xingtian, aren't they all dead? They couldn't believe their eyes. They are dead, but they are captured by the natural calamity and integrated into the natural calamity, because all the people here have participated in the Holy King's assembly and been contaminated with cause and effect, so they all appear. Some of the older generation of strong people came forward. I'm afraid it's troublesome. It said that when natural calamities don't want people to cross over, they will summon a powerful existence in cause and effect to kill those who cross over. Such natural calamities can't be called natural calamities, but natural punishment. Another old man has a dignified face. Is it because they attacked the natural calamity crazily, angered the natural calamity and brought down the natural punishment? Someone asked. No one knows this. After all, heaven's punishment only exists in the legend. No one knows the details. However, I'm afraid it's not good for these strong men who died in the Holy King's challenge arena to appear in the calamity. The old man sighed. He wanted to say that no matter how strong a man is, how can he be stronger than heaven? Long Chen's way of robbing is too crazy. The so-called heaven is crazy with rain, and people are crazy with disaster. But he can't say this. Among the crowd in the distance, there are a group of people who are very dignified and full of worry. They are all strong people from Lingshao Academy. Don't worry. You see, Long Chen hasn't started to release his breath. Everything is under control. Bai Shaole's mother said with a smile that she felt that the elders in the academy were a little worried. Boom! A burst. People, a burst of exclamation. In the disaster of Lian Wang, by Yuezifeng sword cut explosion, powerful Lian Wang, in front of Yuezifeng is still not enough to see. Zifeng, lotus shadowless was broken. Gua Ran yelled, like a flash of lightning rushed in the past. Yu Zifeng understood. A flash left the place. Gua Ran appeared in his position. Gua Ran whole body glow, like a huge whirlpool, crazy devouring lotus shadowless thunder rune. At this time, Gu Yang also killed the leaves without Qin, when the leaves did not explode, and the essence of the rune was absorbed by Gu Yang. The dragon blood soldiers, in the face of the creatures at the Holy King's meeting, have no fear. They still attack like hungry wolves. After a long time, the endless creatures begin to be less and less. At this time, a door appeared on the 9 days. When that door appeared, all the strong people's faces changed, and they couldn't believe it. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4340. Isn't that the gate of no man's world? Someone exclaimed. Kaka kaka. The gate opened slowly, and then people saw a group of figures. When they saw that group of figures, even Yu Zifeng and others were shocked. No, it's not a gate. It's a mirror. Someone exclaimed. Because the world is as like as 2 peas in the gate. In that world, Yu Zifeng, Gaiyong and other dragon warriors and other strong fighters in the world are among them. No, it's not a mirror. It's a copy of the way of heaven. It's their disaster. There was a scream from the older generation. Kill! All of a sudden, Gu Yang and others in the opposite world roar with a roar. They go straight through the gate to kill Gu Yang and others. The disciples of the Temple of War, the Academy and the Xinghe sect had never seen such a scene before. They were stunned when they watched them kill themselves. It's just a copy of the way of heaven. Let's fight. Gu Yang stops drinking and leads the crowd to fight to meet another himself. It's not the first time that the Dragon Blood Army has experienced such a scene, and there is no fear. Death. The 2 is like as 2 peas, 2 is like as 2 peas, and the other as the two men in the mirror. Boom! There was a big black hole in the void, like a monster's mouth, trying to devour the whole world. But Gu Yang's arms are numb and his mouth is bleeding. The strength of another Gu Yang is not under him. Buzz, at this time, 9 days tearing, all the souls in the disastrous stab, a sword chi tearing void, even all the people shrouded. Choking, Yu Zaifeng's long sword came out of its sheath again. The sword chi was like lightning. 2 sword chi collided together at the same time. With a bang, the cloud above 9 days was shattered and healed slowly. Look for your own opponents, don't make a mistake. At this time, there was chaos among the disciples of the academy, the temple of War God, and the Xinghe sect. They had never encountered such a natural calamity and did not know how to deal with it. When they saw people killing them, they just slashed. Buzz, at this moment, on the void, the colorful divine light blooms, and the terrible flame diffuses in an instant. It's the rainbow. Some people exclaimed that another Yu Qingxian, who had made a seal with his jade hand, was stirring up the colorful divine light, lighting up the whole world. Rainbow Chop, Yu Qingxian is surprised. This is a magic power she has just learned. She has never used it before, but she did not expect to be copied by the way of heaven. If this move is inspired, the consequences will be unimaginable. Boom! Yu Qingxian shoots a rainbow in her hand. Before the colorful light has formed a scale, she penetrates it first. With a bang, the colorful light flies away. It is as gorgeous as fireworks and then explodes in the void. Don't be splashed with sparks. Yu Qingxian reminds me in a loud voice. After hearing Yu Qingchuan's warning, other strong men tried to avoid the Mars. The Mars fell to the ground, and the earth was melted into deep holes. The holes were burning with fire. The earth, 1,000,000 miles around, was burned into a honeycomb by the broken Mars. Boom! All of a sudden, the earth like a hornet's nest burst open. 2 earth giants, as if enraged by Mars, emerged from the earth. Their bodies rose into the clouds and covered the sky. No, when they saw the 2 earth giants, Li Qi and Song Mingyuan, their faces changed greatly. Their opponents took the lead and emptied the earth around them. Now they have no earth power to use. In their dreams, they did not expect that Tianjia would copy all their moves, and once they made a move, they directly sacrificed their best moves without reservation. The power of gold, the extreme of heaven, rich earth produces Ruijin. At this moment, 2 cold voices, singing at the same time, are 2 white poems at the same time. The golden lotus buried heaven and earth. 2 people at the same time a break drink. When the last syllable from their lips spit out, the earth burst open, 2 sacred and solemn golden lotus appear. The golden lotus stand is huge. The moment it breaks through the ground, it makes the world tremble and wail. Boom! The 2 lotus terraces, which are like high mountains, are shining endlessly, just like meteors, colliding and leaving. Seeing the 2 huge lotus stands, countless people were shocked. With the power of sharp gold attached to the lotus stands, even the half-step immortal class strong felt the threat of death. They could not accept it. And if 2 white poems are printed at the same time, it is equal to dividing the golden power of this world into 2. After the separation, there is such a terrible power. So what will happen if the 2 become one? Boom! In people's astonished eyes, 2 golden lotus platforms collided with each other fiercely, and billions of golden god-ons erupted between heaven and earth, lighting up the sky, and even the stars were trembling for it. At that moment, everyone lost sight, the terrible storm broke out, and the 2 earth giants were just on the edge of the 2 golden lotus blossoms. The great power smashed half of their bodies, and the endless earth danced, but it turned into thunder rune in an instant. Thank you, Li Qi and Song Mingyuan were overjoyed and rushed to those thunder runes one after another. When they were close to the thunder runes, those thunder runes were instantly absorbed by them, and their breath soared a lot. Boom! A giant earth holding a huge column smashes them. They work together to resist, but they are still shaken away. On the top of the 2 earth giants' heads, there are 2 figures. They are the 2 people copied by the way of heaven. They have combined with the earth giant and killed them. Li Qi and Song Mingyuan lost the opportunity to summon a powerful earth giant. They had to fight against them with their magic weapons and powerful bodies. The two earth giants were extremely fierce, and they were killed step by step. They were surrounded by danger for several times and almost smashed into meat cakes. And the other strong, not much better, Guoran was a monster dressed in war armor hit-run, dare not fight with it. However, Guoran has his own advantages. Under each impact, the armor monster will drop some thunder runes. These runes will be absorbed by Guoran immediately. Guoran's armor is becoming stronger all the time. With the increase and decrease, Guoran is bound to win. Xia Chen was the most difficult. His opponent waved his hand, which was all over the sky Fu Zhuan. Every Fu Zhuan burst open, which could tear a large void. He didn't dare to pick it up at all, so he could only use Fu Zhuan to match Fu Zhuan. The most hateful thing is that the opponent's Fu Zhuan is endless, and his Fu Zhuan is one less, especially the newly developed Fu Zhuan. He can't bear to use it at all, but at this time he is forced to throw it all out, and his heart is dripping blood. Even if the robbery is successful, he will have to spell all his family. At this time, the Dragon Blood army fell into a bitter battle, and other strong people were in danger. Facing the strongest state of themselves, they were all flustered. The power of the copied self was endless, and they would die if they were consumed like this. At this moment, someone in the distance roared. There was a riot in the crowd. A group of creatures broke through the blockade and rushed in. Here it is at last. A sneer appeared in the corner of Long Chen's mouth. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 43-41, Asshole. Some people roared. The thousands of creatures almost effortlessly broke through the blockade. Even if the scope of the natural disaster is too large, these people will not break through the blockade so quietly. At first sight, they will be met by an insider and released deliberately. You know, all these people are strong in Fairyland. There are only a few thousand people. If someone gives a warning in advance, the joint efforts of all the people will be enough to stop them. This group of people who rush into the disaster at this time is to see the people in the disaster and fall into a crisis. Their entry will instantly break the balance of the battlefield. The disciples of Dragon Blood soldiers, academies, war temples and Xinghe sect will suffer a large area of casualties, even collapse in an instant, and the whole army will be destroyed. It can be said that they are malicious. By the time everyone reacted, these creatures had already rushed into the disaster. It was too late for them to stop. They were surprised, angry and worried. Boom! When these creatures rush into the disaster suddenly trembles, and the thunderous sword, like a rainstorm, pours down on them. This group of creatures also participated in the robbery. The power of the robbery soared a little, but they did not copy their figures. Obviously, it seems that it will take some time for them to be copied. Longchen, you damn thing, you can recognize me. Two voices at the same time surging between heaven and earth, the sound of disaster, cannot hide the echo of terror. People were shocked to find that it was a double-headed creature. At this time, in the vision behind it, black and white blended, drawing a strange face of yin and yang, like a devil's mask, which was frightening. When they saw the double-headed creature, Xia Chen and Guoran both felt awe-inspiring. This person was one of the 9 top celestial pride who had been baptized in the No One world. Although he didn't go through the baptism of the chaotic pool, in his vision, the airflow of chaos has obviously taken root in chaos. What if you steal our energy? We still get enough chaos. I said, I want you to pay a terrible price. The two-headed creature's face was ferocious, and the devil's face in the vision behind it was more and more terrifying. What if you get enough chaos? Let me pay the price? Just you? What about the others? Long Chun looks at the two-headed creature, and a touch of sarcasm appears at the corner of his mouth. Looking into the distance, he doesn't see any other figure. Long Chun suddenly realized, so it is. At the beginning, we 3 brothers broke into no man's world alone, which made you lose face. This time, you are bringing thousands of people to make trouble in my natural calamity. Is this to retrieve the place? Other people have finished the robbery, but I can't swallow it all the time. I have to get to know you. The two-headed creature is gloomy. Obviously, the two-headed creatures were very proud and conceited. At the beginning, the three men not only took their chance, but also disgraced the whole uninhabited world. This double-headed creature, with the most irascible temper, has been robbed by others, but he has been waiting for the opportunity and has to revenge. Finally, some Terran traders couldn't resist the temptation, risked the array and secretly led them over. The array level of these traders can't be compared with that of Xiaqin. In fact, they came here with a whole 100,000 people. But because the array was flawed, when they passed through the gate, they suffered terrible pressure, resulting in many people being squeezed to death directly in the crack of the door. And the two-headed creature with the survivors came across, also seriously injured. They in the secret cultivation at the same time, also has been waiting for the opportunity. Under the betrayal of the traders, they control every move of Longchen, but in fact, Longchen does not disdain to hide anything. Longchen and others are robbing. They have been watching every move here through the traders. Now they see the time is ripe and kill them for the first time. It's time for the warriors of the uninhabited world to avenge themselves. Kill them. The two-headed creature roared. Kill. Those creatures roared and burst out one by one. Their blood rushed to the sky. They summoned the Numenon one after another and rushed over. I really don't have enough intelligence. I'll take my life. You don't want to ask. You can break into my dragon dust disaster? Longchen sneers. Roar. All of a sudden, a huge thunder dragon appears and grabs the two-headed creatures with one claw. The dragon claw covered the sky and covered them all in an instant. The two-headed creatures were shocked. The dragon claw pressed down, the heaven and the earth twisted, and the thunder rolled, forming a terrible thunder field. Buzz. The two-headed creature roared, his body swayed, and he turned into a black python. Its body turned out to be a two-headed black python, with two big mouths open, one black and one white, and two magical lights shot out, hitting Lei Linger's dragon claws. Boom! The two heads of the two-headed black python were in charge of two different laws. They were so sharp that even 10,000 paths were torn apart. However, when they collided with Lei Linger's dragon claws, they were still smashed. What? The double-headed black python was shocked. It was his own magic power. He couldn't shake Lei Linger's dragon claw at all. Buzz, under the pressure of the dragon claw, including the double-headed black python, thousands of uninhabited creatures are compressed into a sphere. Boom boom. The two-headed black python and other creatures, crazy attack Thunderfield, but Thunderfield is held by the dragon claw, motionless. The body of the two-headed black boa is not worth mentioning in front of Lei Linger's dragon, just like a loach in the dragon's claw. My God, what's that? Looking at the boundless dragon incarnated by Lei Linger, people were shocked. It's like the thunder beast raised by elder martial brother Longchen. Oh my God, it's terrible. The double-headed monster was suppressed by waving. At first, people were surprised and angry, and worried about Longchen and others. Now it seems that their worries are totally unnecessary. No, they are not redundant. They just worry about the wrong people. It seems that they should worry more about these alien creatures. Boom boom. The double-headed monster and those creatures attack the boundary set by Lei Linger crazily, but Lei Linger's strength at this time is comparable to that of the immortal strong, and she is in the midst of the disaster. Her strength is endless, and the double-headed monster can't break through the boundary king. It's a pity. I thought you were going to have a bunch of people. As a result, you just look down on me? Finally, they'll give you 4 words, nothing. Longchen looks at the trapped double-headed monster and turns his mouth, looking disappointed. He had hoped that all the 9 masters would come to settle their grudges together. As a result, he came to such a place, which was not enough for Lei Linger to press with one hand. The two-headed black python was so angry that he swore and attacked Lei Linger's border madly. But Lei Linger's thunder force trapped them and cut off their breath. The natural disaster lost its target and restored its original appearance. If you don't get the baptism of natural calamity, the double-headed black python and those creatures will be mad if their strength can't be improved. Long Chen didn't pay attention to the two-headed black python. Instead, he looked at the strong men who were fighting against him. At this time, many people were tired, panting, and even despairing. Long Chen cried out, "There is no retreat in the path of practice. The biggest challenge we face is ourselves. In the past, you all hated your weakness and incompetence, but now? Are you going to lose in the face of your weak and incompetent self? Elder Martial Brother Longchen, this is unfair. Our physical strength is declining, but their physical strength is endless." An academy disciple couldn't help crying. At this time, he was covered with blood and could hardly hold on any time. Longchen cried out, "Fair? What a joke! When was the world fair? You only see your unfairness, but you don't see their unfairness. They are you copied by the way of heaven. They represent you when you just went through the robbery. Although their strength is endless, their strength is limited. And you? It's been a long time. After such a long time of fierce fighting, haven't you noticed your change? Their strength is constant, and your strength is constantly improving. In practice, you are constantly improving and becoming stronger. You are stronger than you were before a burning incense, before a breath, and even before you blinked. They are just your past. If you can't beat the past, what qualifications do you have to meet a stronger future? The sound of Long Chen is getting louder and louder, covering up the roar of natural calamity. It seems that it has passed through the ages, and the whole world trembles for it, and goes straight into the depths of human soul. Even the strong onlookers, hearing the cry of Long Chen, felt their blood boiling and their pride soaring. They wanted to rush into the disaster and join the trial. The eldest brother is right. As a practitioner, he has to go against the heaven to attack the immortals and forge ahead bravely. Only by letting the past pass can the future come. How can I lose to the past? Yu Zifeng and the other himself crazy fierce battle, his face a little pale, obviously huge consumption, but at this time he suddenly put the sword into the scabbard. And another Yu Zifeng, who seemed to be affected, even stopped for a moment, and then put the sword into the scabbard. "Goodbye, my past, I will miss you, but I must not let you become a stumbling block on my way forward." With these words, Yu Zifeng suddenly closed his eyes. There was no expression on his face. At that moment, he seemed to blend into the whole world. Choking, all of a sudden, two long swords came out of their scabbard at the same time, two sword lights tore the heaven and earth at the same time, cut open the 9 days of robbery cloud, and hit each other heavily. Boom! When the two swords were cut together, one of them collapsed. Yu Zifeng, who was copied by heaven, was cut into 2 pieces with one sword. Choking, the sword into the scabbard, Yu Zifeng looked at his figure, a smile appeared in the corner of his mouth and waved, "I will miss you." Boom! That figure burst into pieces, turned into runes all over the sky, and integrated into Yu Zifeng's body. At that moment, Yu Zifeng's breath soared rapidly. Behind his head, a divine light flashed away, and there was a trace of king's breath on his body kill. When Yu Zifeng killed his past, everyone went crazy and attacked another himself with all his life. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 43-42, Boom Boom. The Dragon Blood Army fought back for the first time. They were fierce and fought for their lives. Those figures copied by the way of heaven were smashed one after another. When those figures were smashed, the pure thunder force poured into their bodies, and a strange divine light appeared behind their heads. Jiawang Shenhui has appeared, and they are about to enter the realm of Jiawang. Someone cheered. In the face of such a terrible disaster, the Dragon Blood Army is still successful. The Dragon Blood soldiers are too strong. Come and help me. Xia Qin yells that his situation is different from others. His opponent's Fu Zhuan is endless. He can't beat him at all. If no one helps him, he will die when his Fu Zhuan is exhausted. Boom boom. Gu Yang, Li Qi and Song Mingyuan attack another Xia Qin at the same time. As a result, that Xia Qin shakes his hand and hundreds of millions of seal characters appear. Hold the grass. Gu Yang, Li Qi and Song Mingyuan were so scared that they quickly went back. Just as they were going back, hundreds of millions of Fu and Zhuan characters exploded, and their powerful impact made them bleed. Where did he get so many seal characters? Gu Yang, 3 people exclaimed. If not 3 people retreat fast enough, that hundreds of millions of Fu Zhuan can blow them up. Qi, at the moment when hundreds of millions of Fu and Zhuan characters were smashed, a sword Qi was cut down and a bang was made. Xiachen, who was copied from the Way of Heaven, was smashed by Yu Zifeng's sword. Xiachen thanks Yu Zifeng and takes the opportunity to absorb all the thunder runes. When the runes are absorbed, he is also in the realm of king. Don't be idle. Help others. Gu Yang shouts loudly, because he sees that there are many strong people, even if they are desperate, they can't kill another one. This kind of situation, like that of Xia Chen, has also appeared in other places. It is necessary to have other people's help. Boom! At this time, a group of figures on the 9th heaven are killed. They are the creatures of no man's world. Their figures are also copied by the Way of Heaven. Behind these creatures are endless thunder monsters. Boss, our armor needs more thunder. Guoran couldn't help crying. He knew that their plunder had been completed. Although they had been promoted to the king of the world, the weapons and spirits of the armor and the divine soldiers had not yet fully awakened. Dragon blood soldiers stay, others, all out of the robbery. Longchen shouts. After receiving the order from Longchen, all the disciples of the academy, the Hall of War God and the strong men of Xinghe sect withdrew. They have already completed the robbery and set foot in the realm of the king. Now they are short of the last step to ignite the glory of the king. However, if you want to ignite Wang Shenhui in the world, you need the complete end of the natural calamity, because with the participation of no one, their natural calamity has been extended. Kill, when the double-headed black boas in the disaster come to kill, Gu Yang and others immediately kill them, which is the most fierce kill. But the 2-headed black python trapped by Lei Linger is in a big hurry. If they are killed by these thunder creatures and the runes are absorbed by others, they will be finished and will not be promoted to the king of the world in their life. Boom boom. Double-headed black python, crazy attack Lei Ling Air's border, but still can't shake a cent, asshole, there's a way to let us out. The 2-headed black python roared. Puff, puff, puff. The dragon warriors kept killing the thunderous monsters and the unbounded creatures. After absorbing their thunder essence, they were pleasantly surprised to find that these thunderstorms contained a lot of chaos laws, and their armor and soldiers were rapidly rising. Buzz! The swords of the dragon blood soldiers began to shine. The swords had the breath of life. They finally awakened the spirit of the weapon and became the real immortal magic weapon. Seeing this scene, the dragon blood soldiers cheered, and Xia Chen and Guoran were even more excited to tears. Although I feel that this road must be feasible, I am always worried. Now, under the influence of natural calamity, with the power of natural calamity, the magic soldier can generate self-consciousness and spirit. This fantastic step has really gone through. Buzz buzz. The armor and magic soldiers of the dragon blood soldiers are flashing wildly, which is the sign of the awakening of the spirit. When the armor wakes up, it disappears in a moment and integrates into the body of the dragon blood soldiers. However, although the spirits awaken, they are not really magic soldiers. They need dragon blood soldiers to keep them warm with their spirits. After all, the spirits are just born, and they are still very young. They need to be taken care of with heart. They are like a small flame. One day they will grow into real immortal soldiers. The dragon blood soldiers' armor and magic soldiers wake up one after another, and finally only Guoran's armor is left, because Guoran's armor is not one, but more than 360 pieces. Fortunately, there are so many creatures. Gu Yang and others don't need the power of thunder anymore. They help Guoran kill him, and Guoran keeps absorbing the power of thunder. His armor kept flashing, and the endless thunder was absorbed by him. When Gu Yang shot through the body of the 2-headed black python, the golden armor of Guoran suddenly lit up. Yes, yes, Guoran screams excitedly. That day, the double-headed black python copied by Tao is killed. Guoran's armor is saturated in an instant. All the parts of the armor are activated and the spirit of the weapon wakes up. At that moment, the whole battle armor, just like a part of Guaran's body, had the same feeling of blood, which made him extremely friendly. Boom! At this time, suddenly the gate of no man's world on the ninth heaven collapsed, and the heaven and earth returned to their original appearance. It's over. People exclaimed that the terrible disaster was finally over. No, Elder Marshal Brother Longchen hasn't gone through the robbery yet? Someone exclaimed, their world, Wang Shenhui, has not been lit up. Others are also aware that it's wrong. If the end of the robbery, the dragon blood warriors will be lit up in the back of the world Wang Shenhui, which is recognized by the way of heaven, the symbol of the real advanced world Wang. But now the disaster is gone, but there is no movement in Wang Shenhui's world. For a moment, everyone is silly. What's the situation? Boom. At this time, the earth began to shake. At that moment, everyone's face changed. This time, the shaking of the earth is not local, but the whole world is shaking, with the strong looking far away. God, what's that? Someone exclaimed. When people look to the horizon, they see endless darkness, which is as black as ink clouds, coming from all directions. After robbing the clouds, the whole world became dark, just like the end of the world, buzzing. At this moment, the nameplates on countless people's waists lit up, and they took out the nameplates one after another. For a moment, everyone's face was shocked. They received an urgent message from the clan. The area where the main clan was located was all covered by a cloud of terror and violent pressure. They directly broke the rules of the Great Array and were suspected to have been attacked by unknown people. These strong men look at the cloud that slowly comes and gradually devours the light. They know that the so-called unknown attack comes from the supremacy of the cloud. People are swallowing their saliva, sweat dripping quietly from their forehead. This disaster has covered the whole nirvana. At this time, a voice came, and Bai Zhantong and others were surprised. Lord, why are you here? They did not expect that the Lord of the temple came in person. The Lord of the hall did not answer. His eyes looked at the endless cloud of plunder. There was a dignified look in his eyes. This is the plunder of the world. The dragon dust is dangerous. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 43-43. Lord, don't you say you don't show up? White Exhibition Hall can't help but weigh. Originally I didn't intend to come, but the scope of Longchen's disaster is too large, and the whole law of nirvana is in disorder. The gate of the no man's world and the gate of the wilderness world will be pulled by the force of natural calamity, and it is very likely that the strong of the alien world will kill them. It was originally agreed that dragon dust would be used as bait to see how many people would attract without eyes. However, now the situation has changed. I'm afraid the bait will be eaten. The Lord of the temple is humane. Are you afraid that the immortal and strong of the alien world will kill you? Bai Shishi's mother was surprised. The Lord of the hall nodded and said, there are some old people in the Terran who have already used their inside information to advance secretly. My target was originally them, but according to the scale of the current disaster, the strong pulling force is likely to open the door completely, and there may be a bloody battle later. Boom! Just as the people were talking, clouds came from all directions, and the whole world gradually fell into darkness. The sky is like the eyes that are closing. As it shrinks, everyone feels a terrible palpitation. The bones are cold, and the strong smell of death envelopes everyone. Dragon dust. When you see that terrible cloud of robbery covering the whole world, Yu Qingxian and Bei's poems are full of worry. This disaster is too frightening. I'm fine, you go out first. Long Chen smiles to them and signals them to leave with them. Long Chen has not released his own breath, but when the dragon blood soldiers cross the robbery, he has sensed that the robbery has captured his breath. The reason why it took such a long time to come is that it is accumulating strength, which brings together the whole power of nirvana. Now, looking at this boundless disaster, Long Chen finally understands why his father must separate from him. A disaster of this scale will take away the power of one side of the world. It may not be enough for two people to survive. Although the dragon blood soldiers have gone through so many natural disasters with Longchen, they have never seen such a terrible one. They are also full of worries about Longchen. But they don't want to show it and retreat with the crowd, so as not to be pulled in by the dragon dust. Putong. Many of the strong people in the periphery were as pale as paper and trembling. They could not help kneeling down. In the face of the supreme power of heaven, they have to submit and dare not resist. The power of heaven has a terrible suppression on them. Those who are strong enough to survive under the protection of Longchen, although they also fear heaven and earth, can barely support themselves in the face of such pressure. After all, when they were in a hurry, Longchen ordered them to take the initiative to attack Tianke. They had a certain resistance to the oppression of Tianke. Boom! The clouds of heaven finally closed, the last ray of light between heaven and earth disappeared, and the whole world fell into darkness, which made people feel despairing, like the end of the world. Kaka. In the endless clouds, thunders emerge, and they rush to the top of Longchen's head like a sea of rivers. In the black cloud, you can see a thunder dragon emerge, thousands, just like crucian carp, rush to the cloud above Longchen and disappear. The dragon body of thunder is like a mountain, endless, swimming from all directions. At that moment, the earth collapsed, cracked and burst in shaking. The earth under people's feet is sinking, and they have to continue to retreat. Some people are numb due to the influence of the heavenly power, so they can only ask others to help drag them away. Buzz, I don't know how many thunder dragons swarmed into the cloud above Longchen's head. After a whole hour, the cloud above Longchen's head trembled and formed a vortex. The whirlpool became bigger and bigger, and began to rotate. The force of horror began to twist the whole world and make it unreal. When the cloud-robbing whirlpool appears, the corresponding earth also appears whirlpool. The earth is collapsing, gradually forming a deep and bottomless whirlpool, and Longchen is standing in the center of the two whirlpools, so small and helpless. But Longchen's face is calm all the time, and he looks at the cloud above his head quietly. However, Longchen's face is calm, but the strong men of no man's world who are trapped in the thunder barrier can't be calm. They looked at Jiyun in horror, and their eyes were about to protrude. The arrogant, angry, and unconvinced two-headed black python didn't attack Jie now, just like a fool staring at Tianjie. Let us out, we're going home. All of a sudden, the two-headed black boa roared, as if it were a frightened child, with a crying voice. There's a hole in this guy's head. Guoran and others were stunned when they heard his cry, especially Xia Chen and Guoran. They had seen their terror with their own eyes. Was it silly that this guy should say such mindless words? They attack Longchen secretly to kill everyone. They even let Longchen let them go. People can't believe their ears. Let you go? Go home. Longchen's eyes were drawn back from the disaster and looked at the trapped two-headed black python. A sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. Do you still know how to go home? What about the people who have been exterminated by you? Have you ever let them go, or have you ever thought how much they want to go home? Boom! Suddenly, the whirlpool between heaven and earth stopped, and then a terrible threat of death enveloped Longchen's heart for a moment. Dragon Dust was startled. He didn't even think about it. The wings of Kunpeng trembled behind him, and people disappeared in an instant. At the moment when Dragon Dust disappeared, Lei Linger also disappeared. With the disappearance of Lei Linger, the border that trapped the living creatures in the no-man's world also disappeared. For a moment, before they had any reaction, a huge column of thunder shot down and covered them all, joined forces to strike. Seeing that he couldn't escape, the two-headed black boa roared, his scales burst, and blood splashed. He used self-mutilation to exchange for the strongest power, and other creatures in no man's world also burst out with all his strength. Bang covered the space of 10,000 li, the double-headed black python's blow, and all the uninhabited creatures burst out with all their strength. They were submerged by the beam of light and didn't even raise a wave. In a moment, they turned into nothingness, and thousands of strong people were killed. When the pillars of light pierce into the earth is broken down, and then in the hundreds of millions of miles of earth, the pillars of light soar into the sky, straight into the sky, and the hundreds of millions of miles of space suddenly becomes a birdcage. When seeing this scene, Long Chen's face changed greatly. This natural calamity is different from all previous natural calamities. One shot is the best. As soon as the huge Thunderbird cage appeared, it shrank rapidly. Hundreds of millions of miles of space was forced to burst, and it was forced to squeeze Long Chen to death. 7-star battle body. Open the dragon dust feels not good. Directly took out the strongest condition. The double palms fiercely support outward. Boom. A startling explosion, hundreds of millions of miles of space, was compressed to only a few feet. Long Chen was firmly trapped in it. This sudden change attracted everyone's exclamation, click, click, click. The 7 stars behind the dragon dust are moving, which blocks the contraction of the cage, but the huge power makes the bones of the dragon dust click. Break it for me, dragon dust roared, blue veins on his forehead burst, and his arms pushed out. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 43-44 Behind the dragon dust, the 7 stars tremble, and the power of fury soars to the sky. Boom! The thunder dragon burst into pieces. At the moment when the cage burst into pieces, Lei Linger appeared. She made a seal with her hands. The broken thunder runes turned into sharp swords and stabbed at the dragon dust. Puff, puff, puff. Countless thunder swords pierce into Long Chen's body. Everyone is scared. How can Lei Linger attack Long Chen? Boom! Before everyone knew what was going on, suddenly the void burst open, and a thunder-long knife cut down in the air. This knife tore up thousands of channels, and the roaring wind made all the strong people on the scene feel soul-tingling, and their heads seemed to be tearing. Ming Hong Dao, Guoran exclaimed, the long sword that cuts the heaven and the earth is the Ming Hong sword that Long Chen used to use. Now it is copied by Tianjia and cut to Long Chen. This Ming Hong sword is huge, and its body is even longer than that of a state. It seems that there is an invisible hand in the universe. It grabs it and cuts at the dragon dust fiercely. This sword blocks the heaven and earth, and there is no way to avoid it. This knife, let alone block it, even if you take a look at it, it will break people's will. No one thought that the natural disaster of Long Chen didn't have the process from weak to strong. It directly killed people. Kijusha, Long Chen yells angrily, and his 7-Ju sword appears. In the face of Thunder Sword, he doesn't retreat. Instead, he takes the initiative to meet and slashes with one sword. Boom! The sound of the sky, the surge of Xinhui, Dragon Dust's 7 unique sword burst, Thunder long knife cut on him, Dragon Dust blood gushing, instant injury. How could that be? When they see this scene, Yu Qingxian and Bai Shishir suddenly turn pale. It's just the beginning, and Long Chen is injured. What can we do next? The dragon blood soldiers clenched their fists and looked nervous. They had been robbing with Long Chen for many times, but they had never seen such a disaster. They did not follow the normal routine. Boom! However, the thunder long knife chopped the 7-Ju sword. After it hit the dragon dust hard, it broke itself. At the moment when it burst into pieces, Lei Linger's jade hand made a seal, and the endless thunder turned into a sharp sword again, stabbing the dragon dust. Puff, puff, puff. Thunder sword stabs into dragon dust's body and disappears in an instant. This time, people finally understand that Lei Linger is helping dragon dust. Heaven does not give Long Chen the chance to improve. If you want to kill Long Chen in the simplest and most brutal way, Long Chen can only fight for the chance to improve himself. Don't worry about poetry. Long Chen still has the chance. Bai Shishi's mother, holding Bai Shishi's hand, comforted her in a soft voice. Although she could comfort her daughter, she felt that her words were too pale. She had never seen or even heard of such a robbery. It was not a robbery, but a robbery to kill Long Chen. It was a contest between man and nature. Buzz, buzz. On the cloud, there appeared a whirlpool. Among those whirlpools, there appeared a shadow, but I couldn't see what it was. The whirlpool seems to be brewing something, but during the brewing period, it didn't give Long Chen a chance to breathe. Long guns, halberds, swords and crazy knives slashed and stabbed Long Chen fiercely. Each blow was no worse than that of Ming Hongdao, and the momentum became stronger and stronger. Long Chen tried his best to resist, but he was still so shocked that he kept spitting blood, and even had cracks all over his body, which seemed to explode at any time. Boom boom. There seems to be a cosmic giant hiding in the disaster, throwing every magic weapon to the dragon dust with all his strength. Even if they were not in the midst of the disaster, the strong people on the scene still felt difficult to breathe and trembled all over. The terrible heavenly power attached to each blow was just despairing. Countless disciples can't help shivering. If they are in the midst of the disaster, they can't even resist. They can only let the disaster destroy them. That's what people often say, the destiny can't be violated. Long Chen was killed by those terrible thunder soldiers, so that he didn't have the power to fight back at all. The result of every hard fight was that he was hurt more than he was hurt. It's not that Long Chen is not strong enough, but that heaven does not give Long Chen the time to grow up and directly uses the strongest force to kill him. Countless people's hearts have been mentioned in their throat. Every time they see Long Chen's injury and vomiting blood, they look at the dense wounds on their bodies, for fear that they will burst open even if they can't hold it. Even some nuns closed their eyes and didn't dare to look any more for fear of seeing the scene of dragon dust being killed by heaven. It's not a way to go on like this. There is no end to the calamity, but Long Chen has no chance to breathe. If he goes on like this, he will die. White Exhibition Hall is biting teeth way. He is also a face of nervous, but there is no way. Don't talk nonsense. See, White Exhibition Hall said will die undoubtedly 4 words. White Shaoless mother quickly scolded. Bai Zhantong was so anxious that he could not choose his words, but he didn't care about the details anymore. Lord, is there any way to save Long Chen? No, the Lord answered directly. When the Lord of the temple said this, everyone's face became ugly for a moment. Even the Lord of the temple couldn't help. Is dragon dust really going to die in the disaster? Sure. Suddenly, Bai Shishi's mother exclaimed. Because Bai Shishi's body was shaking, she almost fell down. They were so scared that they helped her quickly. It turns out that Bai Shishi had a fierce fight with another one when he was in the middle of the disaster, because he was the master of Jin's power. Jin's power was mainly strong, but it was easy to break when it was hard, and he was defeated by it. Although he won, he also suffered a lot of injuries. She didn't have time to heal, and her mind was tied to Long Chen. Now she saw that Long Chen was in danger, and the Lord's words almost defeated her will. Originally, Bai Shishi's willpower was extremely strong, but once a woman moved her feelings, she had a fatal weakness and almost collapsed on the spot. Now is not the time to worry. The Lord shook his head, boom, suddenly burst out, followed by a burst of cheers. Bai Shishi rushed to see the disaster. Just see, Long Chen holding 7-Ju sword, cut in a thunder magic soldier above, 7-Ju sword and thunder magic soldier burst at the same time. Seeing this scene, Bai Shishi was both surprised and happy. Long Chen miraculously pulled back his disadvantage and was able to resist the magic forces of heaven. Long Chen has been suffering losses before, but after absorbing dozens of thunderbolt forces, he gradually has the capital to fight against natural disasters. He has survived the most difficult stage, and it will be easy to do in the future. Bai Shishi's mother is relieved. In fact, Bai Shishi's mother is very accurate. At the beginning, Long Chen really suffered a lot, but it was not fatal. Long Chen didn't ask Lei Linger to help him fight. He wanted to make a further breakthrough with his own strength under the oppression and threat of his life. When his life is threatened, it will stimulate his instinct to become stronger. In this way, he can absorb thunder faster and make his body stronger faster. As he expected, his body absorbed the power of thunder and sent it to all parts of his body. Qi, blood, muscle, bone, pulse, spirit, soul, mind, will and other countless energies were awakened one by one, and instantly entered the strongest fighting state. There is something wrong with this robbery. I can't wait to die. I have to take the initiative. Long Chen takes a deep breath, and his eyes become sharp for a moment. Suddenly, the golden wings behind him vibrate. Among the exclamations of countless people, he rushes up like a bolt of lightning. www. Ninefold. Com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 43-45, Boom, Boom, Boom. Longchen is holding the Chijue sword. The magic ring behind him vibrates, and his whole life is ignited. He is like the reincarnation of the invincible god of war. He wants to attack the immortals against the sky. Every time he cuts down, the Chijue sword and the thunder god soldiers of that day burst at the same time. The terrible explosive force ripples and shakes the immortal vault. It's really the boss. It's too fierce. Guaran clenched his fist with a look of worship. As soon as Longchen recovered his disadvantage, he rushed to the disaster. His fearless will infected everyone. No one is not afraid to fight with the way of heaven, no one is not afraid, but after embarking on the road of practice, there is no turning back. The dragon blood army forces itself to move forward. Longchen, however, always forces himself into a desperate situation. He can't retreat a step because as long as he retreats a little, he will be doomed. 9 days above the cloud shake, the formation of the vortex, covering the entire Nirvana-ing days, dragon dust in front of the sky, seems so small. However, Longchen's ambition to soar to the sky has shocked everyone. Even in the face of the suppression of the whole world, Longchen is still fighting to the sky, and there is no sign of being discouraged. Boom boom. The dragon dust goes up against the sky, the 7-Ju sword is flying, and the thunder flashes on the long sword. It will smash the thunder magic weapon. The more you fight, the braver you are, and the stronger your breath will be. Lei Linger always follows Longchen and injects those broken thunder runes into Longchen's body. With his own power, he helps Longchen refine and absorb them. Now Lei Linger can't steal the power of thunder. She needs to help Longchen become stronger as soon as possible. Thanks to her, just now, Longchen almost died in the violent disaster. The power of natural disaster is injected into Longchen's body, and Longchen's spirit blood begins to boil, like a melting pot, and his body becomes stronger and stronger. Boom boom. In the eyes of countless people, the wings behind the dragon dust tremble, like a flash of lightning, all the way through the thorns and thorns, smashing the magic forces of heaven, directly rushing into the thunder whirlpool. When the dragon dust rushes into the thunder whirlpool, one can see the small whirlpools in the huge whirlpool, and the shadows appear in the small whirlpool. When he saw one of the shadows, Longchen's face changed greatly. Longchen sees a figure standing in a whirlpool. Although he can't see his face clearly, he can feel the familiar breath and recognize his father Long Zhantian at a glance. He never thought that Long Zhantian was copied by the natural disaster, and the whirlpool kept sucking the power of the natural disaster and injecting it into Long Zhantian's body. Seeing this scene, the back of Longchen's back is chilly. This time, the disaster is really different. It has only one wave, which concentrates all the forces in this wave. At this time, the breath of Long Zhantian was extremely terrible. With the power of Tianjia continuously injected into his body, his power became stronger and stronger, and his breath became more and more terrible. At that moment, Longchen seemed to understand that Long Zhantian's realm had been suppressed for a long time because he had been extracted essence and blood. Now it is very likely that he has been promoted to heaven, and even immortality is not impossible. In this way, he has gone through several natural disasters, which copied him. This is to kill Longchen with Long Zhantian. At that moment, Longchen was surprised and angry. This natural disaster is too vicious. No, I have to interrupt the accumulation of Tianjia, otherwise I may die in my father's hands. Longchen felt numb on his scalp. Although Longchen had many strong men in his life, only his father could match the 5 great emperors. All his father's skills were created by himself. He was amazing, gorgeous, and incomparable. He didn't want to compete with his father. The most important thing is that if the way of heaven imitates the dragon fighting heaven of Tianzuan level or even immortal level, he will surely die. When Longchen wanted to destroy the thunder whirlpool where Long Zhantian was, he took a look at the other whirlpools. At that moment, Longchen's head was buzzing. Heaven and Earth tripod, Dragon Dust saw another whirlpool, a bronze tripod was shaking, and endless thunder power was pouring into it. The bronze tripod was the heaven and earth tripod. The heaven and earth tripod are portrayed by the heaven and the earth. It's really going to kill me. Long Chen is both surprised and angry. If the heaven and earth tripod in its heyday is copied by heaven, no, even if it is 1/10 of the power of the heaven and earth tripod in its heyday, he will be killed in an instant. After all, his heaven and earth tripod is still in the cultivation stage, and he can't play its real magic power. When Longchen looks at another whirlpool, he sees a dark dagger. At that moment, Longchen is cold all over. The dagger is the one that Longchen gave Dongminjiu. It has been copied. Longchen looked at the other whirlpools one by one, and then he saw a tall figure with 3 heads. Brother Wutian, oh, I've got some grass. Longchen gnashes his teeth. That man is Wu Tian. He closes his eyes and holds a long gun, just like a statue. But the cold smell makes Longchen's scalp numb. Wu Tian was also copied by the way of heaven. Wu Tian was the overlord of the underworld and had been imprisoned for countless years. Longchen accidentally released him in the underworld. Later, Longchen entered the underworld again and was regarded as a brother by Wu Tian. He sent him back to the underworld. After that, he had no contact with him anymore. But, unexpectedly, this is also contaminated with cause and effect. Wu Tian's body is copied by the robber, which doesn't give Longchen any way to live. When Longchen looks at another vortex, he suddenly feels that the ring behind him vibrates and seems to be called 9-star airs. Longchen's heart jumps wildly. He suddenly recognizes the figure. It seems that the person is the 9-star strongman who appeared in the last natural disaster. If he didn't release water, Longchen would have died. I didn't expect that he also appeared. Last time, because he let water out of the disaster, today he was also copied. Does this cause and effect start from the disaster and end with the disaster? When Longchen looks at the last whirlpool, he almost doesn't faint directly. There is no human figure in the whirlpool, only one claw. When he saw the paw, Longchen immediately recognized its breath. It was the breath of the dragon strongman. The dragon strongman Longchen had never seen was also copied by the way of heaven. However, it seems that Tianjie could not copy its whole body, only one paw. But only this claw contains the power to destroy the sky and the earth. The vortex it is in is several times larger than other vortices, and the power of thunder it extracts is countless times more than all the other vortices combined. The elder is the elder. You are the biggest threat. I'm sorry. Originally, Longchen intended to destroy his father's whirlpool, but when he saw the dragon claw, he immediately changed his mind. In his hand, he stabbed at the whirlpool. With a bang, the 7-Ju sword in Longchen's hand exploded like tofu, and it couldn't shake the whirlpool at all. At that moment, Longchen was silly. Brother Longchen, its strength is too solid. Brute force can't be broken. Let's change the way. Lei Linger cried. She turned into a pile of wings, attached to the back of the dragon dust. Endless thunder light falling will protect the dragon dust. Boom, boom, boom. The bandits are still attacking Longchen, but with the protection of Lei Linger, those thunder warriors are all bounced away by Lei Linger. Longchen didn't gather Chijue's sword anymore, but just pressed it with both hands to the whirlpool. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 43-46, Buzz. When Longchen put his hands on the center of the vortex, the dragon's claws suddenly vibrated. Poof, blood light splash, dragon dust body, by that dragon claw breakdown. This change came so suddenly that Bai Shishir and others exclaimed that the divine light on the dragon's claw flowed and burst out the supreme divine power and divine pressure, which changed the color of heaven and earth. Buzz. The dragon claw pierced the body of dragon dust. The whole body of dragon dust glowed. Under the skin, golden lines appeared. That was his tendon, and that was the tendon formed by the power of the dragon. When the dragon claw penetrates his body, the dragon tendons explode and absorb the power of the dragon claw. However, the strength of the dragon claw is so great that the dragon tendons crack and tend to burst. However, with the resistance of Longjin, the power of fury has been reduced by more than half, and the rest of the power can't cause fatal damage to Longchen. The dragon claw pierces the body of Longchen, and the violent force rushes in like a tsunami. Longchen's body is almost burst. Boom, all of a sudden, a dragon-shaped pattern in the god ring behind the dragon dust lights up, and the sacred sound of the dragon chant is surging. The dragon dust calls out the Dragon King's battle body vision. Dragon dust has to call it out, because the dragon claw is attached with the terrible dragon power. Only by introducing it into the vision can dragon dust solve the crisis. Buzz, in the vision behind the dragon dust, a giant dragon roars, its rune lights up, and its power is overwhelming. The giant dragon in the vision is also absorbing the power of thunder. Lei Linger, please absorb it with me. I can't hold it any longer. Longchen yells. The power in this whirlpool is too strong. Longchen feels that his body is going to explode, and even the vision can't support it. But he has to absorb the power of the dragon claw, not let the dragon claw withdraw from his body, otherwise he can't stand another attack. At the command of Longchen, Lei Linger's wings light up like the scorching sun, lighting up the whole world. Endless darkness is dispelled, people can see farther, but the farther they see, the more frightening it is. The thunder wings of Lei Linger's incarnation shine straight into the cloud, and you can see the situation of cloud robbery for hundreds of millions of miles. The cloud robbery is not vast, and the thickness is also unimaginable. The light penetrates into hundreds of millions of miles of space, but still can't see the end of the cloud robbery. In the vast sea of disaster clouds, endless thunder rolling, constantly injecting power into those vortices, the scene is frightening. Buzz. With Lei Linger's help to absorb the power of the whirlpool, Longchen suddenly feels the pressure greatly reduced, but even so, with the power of thunder pouring into his body, it becomes extremely difficult for him to absorb it. At this time, in order to help him share the power of thunder, Lei Linger has no way to help him decompose and digest those energies. In this energy, there is rare violent will of heaven. Before Lei Linger helped him eliminate it, he can directly absorb it. Now he needs to decompose it by himself. Lei Linger absorbed more than 80% of his energy crazily. His incarnation's thunder wings grew bigger and bigger, covered the sky and went straight into the sky. Boom boom. When Longchen absorbs the power of thunder, the divine soldiers of Tianji's incarnation never stop attacking, but they are blocked by Lei Linger and can't hurt Longchen. Longchen tried his best to absorb the power of thunder, and his body was also rapidly strengthened. His spirit blood, spirit root and spirit bone began to wake up and merge quickly. It can be said that at this time, the breath of Longchen is soaring wildly and its power is rapidly becoming stronger, but Longchen is not happy at all. Because as time goes on, the power of natural calamity is rapidly pouring into those vortices, and Longchen is getting stronger. However, he obviously feels that his father, heaven and earth tripod, mysterious dagger, 9-star descendant, Wuyan, their breath is also soaring wildly. When you see them at the first sight, Longchen knows that heaven is blessing them, injecting all their strength into their bodies, and then using their strength to kill themselves. The way of heaven has changed. Longchen doesn't know whether it is because the door of the alien world has been opened, or whether he has obtained the qualification of the Holy King that will lead to such a change. He could clearly feel that this heaven and earth was supporting him and destroying him. There seem to be two kinds of emotions in the way of heaven. Longchen can't tell which one is true. However, in the midst of the disaster, he can't feel the affinity of heaven and earth, nor the blessing of Qi. Here, there is only destruction. Lei Linger, can you absorb the power of other whirlpools at the same time? Longchen asked. Brother Longchen, I'm at the limit now. I can't absorb more energy. If you absorb the energy of other vortices, the pressure on your side will increase. I'm afraid you can't bear it. Lei Linger's voice was a little anxious, and she saw the problem. I need time, but the disaster has seen my weakness. If you don't give me time, forget it, just absorb it and kill the biggest threat first. Longchen rode. Among these vortices, the power of this dragon claw is the most terrible. Longchen can only choose it. As for the others, he has no time to think about them. In the distance, everyone was scared out of their wits when they saw Longchen's body pierced by the dragon claws. They thought Longchen had been killed by heaven. But see that the dragon claws still stay in the chest of dragon dust. The breath of dragon dust is soaring rapidly, people just slowly relieved roaring. Longchen's body roared. With the power of thunder, his body began to merge. The supreme blood, purple blood, spirit bone, spirit root, dragon's power, star's power, soul's power. Originally they were fighting for each other. Now, with the blessing of natural disaster, they began to interact with each other. As they began to interact, the breath of dragon dust became stronger and stronger, as if it was endless. Dragon dust's body is like a melting pot. It is necessary to refine all the energy together. If all the forces are combined into one, dragon dust will enter a new height. But at this time, Longchen couldn't get excited at all, because his speed of absorbing thunder power was limited, and the natural disasters seemed to calculate this point accurately, and didn't give him the best chance. What should I do? What shall we do? For the first time, Longchen felt anxious, and his head was suddenly in chaos. The power of Tianjie was injected into the whirlpool. He could only absorb one whirlpool. An hour later, the whole world began to light up. That's because the force of natural calamity is weakening, and the cloud of natural calamity is thinning. If it's someone else, they will feel happy, because the natural calamity is coming to an end. But Longchen knows that when the power of natural calamity is exhausted, it will be the decisive battle of his life. Now, he is far from reaching the limit. Longchen is surprised, angry, and unwilling. This is cheating. Even the way of heaven begins to cheat. It's shameless. The way of heaven is unfair. Where is fairness in the world? All of a sudden, the whirlpool absorbed by Longchen explodes, and all the power of thunder melts into Longchen's body. On the 9th day, there is no more cloud, and the clear sky is restored. At this time, a terrible scene appeared, and several other whirlpools slowly split. Suddenly a burst, the whirlpool burst, one by one figure to kill the dragon dust. The way of heaven is not fair, but I have to go against heaven. Dragon dust sword eyebrow inverted vertical, murderous, holding 7 Jew sword, meet the first figure. P.S. Today is Calvin, only one chapter. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 43-47 Boom, dragon dust just rushed out, saw a gun shadow shot, dragon dust hands 7 Jew sword instant burst. Poof, Longchen was shocked by this shot, and his blood gushed wildly. There was a crack in his eyebrow, and he was almost broken by that shot. It's Wu Tian who makes a move. One shot is the most fierce one. The endless power of thunder breaks out, and Longchen can't resist it at all. The most terrible thing is that Wu Tian's power is so solid that it doesn't leak out. Longchen can't absorb his thunder power at all. Poof! Just when the dragon dust was shocked by the black sky, a black streamer directly penetrated the chest of the dragon dust, bringing out a bloody rain. It's the mysterious dagger. It's very sharp. The powerful body of Longchen is still like a piece of paper in front of it. Boom! Just at this time, a big hand covering the sky patted down the dragon dust, and it was the 9-star descendant's hand. The 7 stars on his palm were flowing. With the power of one hand, he broke the law, and the sky cracked and the earth sank. The dragon dust roars, a claw hits, directly used the strongest unique skill cloud dragon to present the claw. Boom! The dragon claw burst open, the 9-star descendant was shaken back, and the dragon dust was also shaken to see stars, almost vomit blood again. Buzz, at this time, a colorful sword cuts down at Longchen. Longchen instinctively dodges to avoid the blow. At the moment of avoiding this sword, Longchen's heart leaps wildly, and his father makes a move. However, unlike Wu Tian and 9-star heirs, his moves are extremely inflexible and easy to avoid. Is he? Boom! A bronze tripod with supreme power smashes at Longchen. At that moment, the terrible threat of death envelopes Longchen. Buzz, as soon as Longchen gritted his teeth, he directly sacrificed the heaven and earth tripod. When two heaven and earth tripods collide, the sky and earth suddenly lose their original color, and a death ripple spreads. Wuyin, Jiuxing descendants, Longzhanshan and the Black Dagger are all shaken away. The heaven and earth cauldron, which was copied by the Way of Heaven, was smashed into a corner by the real heaven and earth cauldron, and burst out the thunderclap rune. Brother Longchen. Longchen lost consciousness in the shock. Lei Linger cried anxiously in his ear. Although the voice was in his ear, it sounded as if it was coming from the horizon. It seemed so far away. At that moment, Longchen's consciousness seemed to stagnate, and his thinking did not work. He felt as if he had died, and let Lei Ling Air anxiously call. He seemed to become lazy, and he gave up his resistance. Then a picture appeared in front of him. He saw the broken world, the blood stained the earth, and all the bodies in his sight. Among the corpses, he saw familiar figures. He saw the dragon blood soldiers falling in the pool of blood, and the corpses were in different places. See Xiachen's body, nailed to the wall by a sharp blade. See Guoran scattered all over the place, stained with blood armor, but can't see Guoran's body. At that moment, Longchen's blood was surging up and his killing intention was soaring. He didn't dare to see it anymore. He looked up to the sky and roared. Boom! The scene disappears, and his mind returns to reality. At this moment, Longchen sees Lei Linger's incarnation of Thunder Dragon, which is shot by Wu Tian. Lei Linger's breath is rapidly fading. It turns out that just when Longchen fell into an unconscious state, Lei Linger tried his best to resist the attack for Longchen. Wushen's attack was so strong that it could hurt the origin of Lei Linger and even kill him. Lei Linger fights to protect Longchen. Even Hua Linger appears, but her flame can't stop the thunder. She has all her strength, but she can't exert it. Seeing Lei Linger's breath getting weaker and weaker, she is worried. Buzz, Wu Tian smashes Lei Linger's body with a shot. His long gun passes through Hua Linger's block and goes straight to Longchen's face. Pa! Longchen's big hand suddenly grabs the tip of the gun. On Wu Tian's long gun, the power of the thunderbolt surges in like an avalanche. Longchen's arm was shocked, the flesh and blood burst, and the whole arm was blurred, revealing the bones and muscles. I won't die, I can't die, in this world, no one can kill me, not even God. Longchen holds the tip of the gun, and the divine light in his eyes is more and more fierce. His long hair is windless, and his will to be above heaven makes him like the god of war. Boss, he's back. When seeing the posture of Longchen, Guoran, Xiachen and other people familiar with Longchen cheered. That absolute self-confident Longchen returns again. This is in their mind's strongest condition, boss. Buzz, at this time, the black divine light shot at the dragon dust, which was the mysterious dagger. Longchen didn't release Wu Tian's long gun. Instead, he flashed and pushed it with his big hand. He directly used Wu Tian's long gun to resist the black dagger. Boom! A bang! Black dagger cut in the middle of the long gun. Unexpectedly, a blow will cut the long gun into two. Longchen holding a long gun, Wu Tian holding a short stick. The picture is very strange. Longchen in the hands of a long gun burst. Lei Linger suddenly appears, hands pinch print, long gun burst thunder. She was directly into the dragon dust body. Longchen's body was shocked. The thunder power contained in the long gun was incomparable. At the moment when it was injected into his body, the vast power crazily nourished his body. Boom, boom. Wu Tian, Long Zhantian, 9-star descendant, heaven and earth tripod, black dagger attack Longchen in turn. Longchen tries his best to resist, but he is still in a mess, blood splashing, and the situation is extremely tragic. However, Longchen finally caught a trace of the law, in which the heaven and earth tripod is the strongest. Longchen needs to avoid it and can't compete with it, otherwise he will suffer a great loss. Longchen found that although his father was copied by the Way of Heaven, he was the one who was the least threatening to himself. His attack was rigid and his movements were very strange. He did so many moves over and over again. Does father know that he has been copied? Dragon dust heart move. Suddenly see father as sword stab, slant body. Will father's sword lead to heaven and earth ding? With a bang, the Chijue sword in Longzanshan's hand was smashed. Although Longzanshan's moves were dull, his strength was amazing. The sword is broken, and the endless thunder rune is flying. Lei Linger takes it back and injects it into Longchen's body. I understand. My father must have sensed something and made this move. As long as I make good use of my father's move, I can break the game. Longchen found that the dragon fighting heaven, which was copied by the way of heaven, was easily drawn by his colorful blood. At this moment, the 9-star descendant comes to kill. Longchen leads Long Zhantian to cut off the 9-star descendant with a sword. While blocking the 9-star descendant, Longchen, holding the 7-Ju sword, cuts the 9-star descendant fiercely. Bang! The dragon dust sword is cutting on the neck of the 9-star descendant, and the head of the 9-star descendant rises to the sky. P.S. Yesterday, I had vomiting and diarrhea. I thought I was going to die. Today, I feel better but am still very weak. I can only make a change for a while. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 43-48 Dragon Dust. This sword, full cut down, 9-star descendant's head should fly, in the void burst open. But let the dragon dust startled is, 9-star descendant lost the head, the breath became weak a few minutes, but still not dead. A punch to the dragon dust. Boom, dragon dust kick out, hit 9-star successor's fist, a burst, dragon dust back, and the 9-star successor kick by dragon dust. His strength is getting weaker, and my strength is getting stronger. Everything has a chance. After this blow, let the dragon dust confidence double. Buzz, at this time, the heaven and earth cauldron smashed again. Longchen did not dare to lead his father to attack the heaven and earth cauldron, because the heaven and earth cauldron was too strong, and his father's strength would drop rapidly. Boom, try to avoid, really can't avoid, with heaven and earth ding hard shake. But each time hard, dragon dust is shocked to see stars, eardrum roar, brain a blank. But this time, Longchen learned to be good. Even if he just fought hard, he also took an absolutely defensive posture, so that he could get less injury. After each impact, the heaven and earth cauldron in Longchen's hand is intact, but the heaven and earth cauldron condensed by the natural disaster will burst out a lot of thunder runes. These thunder runes are extremely powerful. After several times of absorption of Longchen, the blood, root, bone, tendon, blood and spirit in the body begin to boil. His body is like a melting pot, which needs to be heated to a certain degree to integrate them. The power of thunder is the source of heat. Only when dragon dust absorbs enough heat can they be completely integrated. Only after integration can dragon dust really become stronger. As time goes on, Longchen constantly uses his father to attack Wutian and Jiuxing descendants. He cooperates with them again. Finally, Jiuxing descendant is the first one who can't hold on and is broken by Longchen's sword. At that moment, Yu Qingxian, Bai Shishir and others gave a cheer. They covered their lips with tears. Their hearts have been clinging to, for fear that Longchen will die under the disaster. That kind of anxious, but can't make any strength feeling, let life be better than death. Now Longchen has smashed the 9-star heirs, and a breakthrough has appeared. When it absorbs the thunder power of the 9-star heirs, there are colorful flames on Longchen's body, and the whole world has been dyed into color. Endless blood rises to the sky. Dragon dust's colorful supreme blood boils. The first one reaches the ignition point and starts to burn. The hot colorful supreme blood flows in dragon dust's body, and endless power surges in dragon dust's body. At that moment, Longchen was fearless, as if everything in heaven and earth was under control. Buzz in Longchen's hand, Chijue's sword condenses again. This time, there is blood-like energy flowing in the Chijue sword. The 7-Ju sword in Longchen's hand is heavily chopped on Wushan's spear. This time, Longchen's sword doesn't break. Long Chen's face is full of ecstasy. This is the real Qijue sword. In the past, his Qijue sword only had its shape, but not its pith. Looking at his stiff father in the middle of the disaster, Long Chen's heart is full of warmth. Dad is really the talent of Tianzong. Even this step has been calculated. Tianjia wants to use Dad, but he never thinks that he will use him. If he doesn't help me, I'm afraid I will die. It was Long Zhantian who helped him fight for the most crucial time. Without Long Zhantian, he would have no chance to absorb the power of thunder to grow up. Today, he will really be planted here. Last time there was a 9-star descendant deliberately releasing water, and this time there was a father deliberately helping. What about next time? Should I always count on others to save my life? No, I want to be stronger. I don't need anyone to help me. Long Chen suddenly felt awe-inspiring. This natural disaster has already killed him. In the future, he will be infected with more and more causes and effects. The natural disaster will only be more and more terrible. He must make himself stronger. 9-star heirs helped him last time, but it was his father who helped him this time. The 2 times of help deeply stimulated the pride of Long Chen. He went all the way from Tianwu to today's position. When he was so weak, he never asked anyone for help. Today, more and more powerful, he needs other people's help to survive, which deeply stings Long Chen's heart. Dad, thank you, but my son hopes that I can go on my own in the future. No matter how rugged the road is, I will go on. Please believe me, because I am the son of Long Zhantian. Boom, the 7-Ju sword in Long Chen's hand is cut on Long Zhantian. That's the weakness Long Zhantian specially left to Long Chen. Originally, Long Chen could let Long Zhantian escort him all the time, but Long Chen refused. Long Zhantian's body is broken, but before it is broken, the corner of his mouth seems to rise slightly, as if with a smile, and then it turns into a rune all over the sky. Dad, I've grown up. Please forgive my rudeness. Long Chen bows respectfully to the shadow of Long Zhantian. Buzz, at this moment, Wu Tian came and shot directly. Wu Tian, who was in the middle of the disaster, repeatedly used this move. He never used the second move. Long Chen knows that when he was in the underworld, Wu Tian shot through the wall of heaven and sent him back to the world from the underworld with this move, which was copied by the way of heaven. Therefore, Wu Tian at this time only knows this move. At the beginning, Long Chen didn't know what realm Wu Tian was. He thought that he should be the realm of king or heaven. Now he understands that Wu Tian's power can't be confirmed by realm. Even the immortal strong cannot break through the barriers and directly send people to other worlds. The gun copied by the way of heaven is at most 80% of Wu Tian's strength at that time. Tianjia can imitate Wu Tian's destructive power, but it can't imitate Wu Tian's original power. Brother Wu Tian, wait for me. My younger brother will definitely come to you. When the time comes, our brothers will not come back until they are drunk. Boom boom. Holding the 7-Ju sword, Long Chen cuts the 7 swords with Wu Tian in a row. At last, Wu Tian's body can't bear it and bursts into pieces. Wu Tian is powerful, but he was calculated by Long Chen several times, and resisted the attack of Black Dagger for Long Chen several times. He consumed a lot and was finally broken by Long Chen. When Wushan's thunder rune was absorbed by Long Chen, the breath of Long Chen soared again. His body roared like thunder. In the thunder, the roar of the dragon came out. Almost. Long Chen's eyes look at the Black Dagger and the heaven and earth cauldron. The next moment is the final decisive moment, which is also a fierce battle. Buzz, Long Chen took the initiative to jump at the Black Dagger. After all, its breath was weaker than the heaven and earth tripod. Long Chen stared at it, but when Long Chen jumped at the Black Dagger, a scene of shock appeared. Boom! The Black Dagger burst into pieces, and the broken runes did not flow to the dragon dust, but to the heaven and earth cauldron. Buzz, all of a sudden, the heaven and earth cauldron zoomed in and covered the whole world in an instant. Long Chen felt the void twisted. He was in the cauldron in a confused way. Boom! All of a sudden, the earth burst open, tens of thousands of tears, and flames circled around the heaven and earth tripod. When people saw those flames, they were shocked. No, the robbery seems to be controlled by someone. Dragon Dust suddenly surprised and angry, aware of the wrong son. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.